at 975thefanatic.com.
Well, all of a sudden, we have a big Sixers game to talk about today. Now the big man is back. We're going to talk about the playoffs and whether or not we could just be excited for a change when it comes to the hardwood team. Also, I thought John was the logical one. I guess not. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
I have to worry about a draft pick from 3 years from now when this team is currently in a mode where they could be competitors.
Assan Reddick, the return is fairly even. I would have preferred to have him this year.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Thursday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade. Johnny, good morning.
I'm doing well. How are you doing there, Andrew?
I'm good. I'm excited. We got a Sixers game tonight, and finally we get to say must watch. Right,
A playoff game.
It's been a while because Joel Embiid had been out since January 30th up until the game the other night. It was great to see him back, get the win, and now we have a game against the Miami Heat, as you've mentioned, with maybe a playoff preview or implications of seeding as well.
I think it's it's a complete playoff preview.
Because one game playoff preview.
Because you're going to be the play-in game is most likely, unless something really strange happens, it's going to be Miami and Philly.
Well, it could be. The Heat actually are tied with the Pacers and have the tiebreaker right now. So the Heat are actually the 6th seed. The Pacers the 7th seed. The Sixers the 8th seed. But all this can still change. I mean, if the Sixers are able to get off a win tonight, they're now just a half game back of Miami, and then we'll see how things fall out with the Pacers over the next couple of nights as well. So you still have that chance of getting to the 6th seed, but it could be a 7-8 play-in preview with the Miami Heat, and all of a sudden we're back to saying, oh, you got to watch the Sixers game. You got to hunker down. You got to check out this game tonight, and that makes me happy. Like the Flyers, right? I was glad that we were finally starting to all come together and watch Flyers hockey every single night. I'm glad that we're going to have to start doing this with the Sixers again. This is the beauty of this time of the year because you have the Phillies basically every single night, especially last night. And then you have the Sixers and Flyers making their playoff pushes and hopefully deep playoff runs. It's great right now.
Okay, but here's the only problem is when we get built up to this excitement, what do we get? Joel Embiid, questionable to play? What?
What do you mean?
Questionable to play tonight.
Okay.
What? Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why?
And this is literally why I have written on the show sheet. I'm surprising you, John. I thought you were supposed to be the logical one.
Why? Like, why is he questionable to play?
Because this will be his second game back after his injury on January 30th that required surgery.
Okay.
So he played his first game. We don't know how was the swelling after the game. How is he feeling after the game? He literally said it on his post-game interview on TNT that he doesn't feel good.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is it's as the excitement builds, and we're excited for it might be the biggest letdown we've ever had also.
Yeah, whenever we find out the actual injury status, but I'm not like sitting here at 6:03 in the morning.
I don't want to think of it either. But I'm going to tell you too, to beat the Heat, you probably need Maxey too. And I'm concerned about this Maxey thing now too.
Let me run this by you. Is this game so important to you that you're willing to play them through potential risk of further injury?
I'm going to tell you this. If Embiid can't go tonight, my concern about him really being back is high. It's on high alert.
How's it on high alert?
Because
they're going to ease him back into it because the playoffs are going to end up being more important. I get it. You would rather not be the 8th seed because you don't want to play Boston in the first round.
No, but at the end of the game the other night, he acted like he was really hurt and sore, and it's really bad.
Well, it also looked like it may have been the game shape. I mean, he played 30 minutes. You even said the other day you were surprised.
I was surprised. I can't believe they played him. They had to, though.
Right.
To get the win, you needed to play him. He was fantastic. But I worry about him. If he's not able to play tonight, then I worry about the viability of, is he really going to be ready for a playoff run? Am I really going to buy into this and say, or is it something that's going to take time? I don't knock him. If it has to take time for him to get better, that's fine. But when you're talking about buy-in from the fan base, I need to know that he's really back.
Yeah, but what did you expect? Like, I
did expect him to play
think
tonight.
he plays tonight. I do.
Okay,
but if it comes out that he's still recovering from his first game back, I'll be more bummed out than nervous about. Like I don't think Joel Embiid's going to look like the way he did before his injury, even in the playoffs.
And I don't expect him to be able to play to that level coming off a major surgery like that.
Yeah.
But I certainly expected him to be able to play
one game.
No, well, that's what it is. If he needs 4 days off before he plays another, I'm going to worry. I'm not going to buy in and go, you know what? In 10 days, he's going to be ready for the playoff grind. But I'm not going to buy into that.
I'm not expecting him to be really up for the playoff grind. But what he is, we even
How about available?
80%. Yes, but an 80% Joel Embiid is better than what you had.
No, I get you. I'm talking about available.
And
is he going to be truly
available come playoff time? They give you enough days off. There's no back-to-backs in the playoffs, so he's going to be available come playoff time. But they might need to ease him in. Like, it kind of sucks that it's the Heat game tonight and not the Spurs game tonight, right? If the Spurs game is tonight, he doesn't play, right?
Well,
and they let him come back against the Heat, and then he doesn't play the Grizzlies game or something like that. But because the Heat game's tonight, we are hoping that he plays.
I don't expect him to play Grizzlies and Spurs Friday and Saturday.
He'll play one of the two, I would think.
Saturday and Sunday, excuse me. I expect him to play one. And then there's plenty of time. You've got the days. I'm concerned, though, as far as you say it with such confidence. Well, he'll be available in the playoffs.
Yes.
You said that. Joel Embiid, we have no such guarantee.
John, they wouldn't have brought him back if they thought that he wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs, right? They wouldn't have brought him back for one game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's not like that was the first time he ran.
I understand what you're saying. What I'm talking about is when he gets out, then they find out how healthy he really is. He may be in serious pain. And I don't imagine it's easy coming back off of a major surgery and what, 9 weeks off. I don't think that's easy.
But you're talking about how it's not easy, but you want him to play tonight.
No, because
you're almost upset that he's listed as questionable.
No, if he isn't playing tonight, what I'm telling you, I'm not mad at him if he's not playing.
I'm not saying that you're mad.
But what I'm saying to you is if he's not playing tonight, I'm not just going to drink the Kool-Aid and go, yeah, he'll be ready for the playoffs.
I'm not asking you to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm just asking people to be excited for a playoff game or a playoff round.
I'm excited to watch it. If I find out Joel Embiid's not playing at 5:30, I'm sorry if my excitement level's not going to be there.
If he doesn't play at 7:30 tonight at tip-off.
My excitement level for the is not going to be.
No, of course not.
Yay!
Of course not. We're talking about it right now with the idea that he is going to be playing tonight. But if it comes out that he's not playing, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, here we go again. It's his second game back after major surgery, and he had to play extra minutes.
Nobody's knocking him. Maybe there will be people who knock him if he doesn't.
I'm not saying that you're knocking him.
But what I'm saying is, it's not. It is absolutely going to go. Maybe he came back too fast. Maybe he came back too fast, and he pushed to get back in.
I don't know what the week difference would have made.
I don't know either.
Like
I don't know either.
If he did come back for the Spurs or if he came back for the Grizzlies, how much different? I mean, again, the team doctors would know. I think they screwed up the situation earlier this year with the Warriors.
Team doctors would know. Could you please? We watched Nick Nurse and the team doctors mishandle him earlier this year.
And I don't think
I'm not going to also bet on them knowing what they're doing.
I don't think they would allow a potential mishandling a second time with their star player. I really don't.
I want to believe so badly that we are going to get what we're looking for out of the Sixers. That we're going to get an actual, not a run, but just a interesting
competitive.
A competitive. You get out of the play-in tournament. You get out of the play-in tournament. You get a favorable matchup. They play Doc Rivers and the Bucks, and Joel Embiid is playing.
Yes,
and doesn't have to have nights off. Then I'm going, you know what? I feel good about their chances. I think they could beat the Bucks. In a series.
Let's put W's and L's aside, right? How far they can go in the playoffs. And I'm not asking for blind optimism, right? Because I know you're not going to be there. And I don't have blind optimism. I don't think they're winning the championship. Do you think people can eventually buy in just excitement-wise going into this playoffs? We talked about the Joel Embiid conversation, whether or not people actually care that he's coming back. And there's a lot of people that were like, oh, I don't care that he's coming back. If they pile up a few wins and they get into the playoffs, I would like to hope that people can get up for a playoff series.
Well, you're going to see it tonight if he doesn't play tonight. Those people are going to come out of the woodwork.
Okay.
If he doesn't play tonight, it's going to be like, well.
Tonight in a regular season game.
No, in a game, but a game that means. Tonight's game, we can say whatever we want about it. It means so much.
It does mean a lot.
It means you can kiss away the 6th seed you don't win tonight, you're pretty much kissing away the 6th.
But if you're telling me, all right,
Any
we're kissing away the 6th seed, but we're giving Joel Embiid extra time to get set for the playoffs and healthy for the playoffs, I would rather do that. And we don't even know if that's the case, right?
We might
just be listed as questionable because that is Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is listed as questionable even on the healthiest of his days. They always do that.
There is the one thing I say to you, though, is that where there are people, and you got to understand it, the skepticism that surrounds people believing these team doctors is huge. And honestly, it should be as far as, look, Andrew, we've already established, you don't have the PTSD when it comes to Embiid.
No.
Other people do. So it's like they've got the PTSD of, here we go again. We're seeing this again.
But were you really surprised? You texted us the second the injury report came out yesterday.
Yes, I do. Absolutely was.
You were surprised that he was listed as questionable following his first game coming off of surgery.
Because I would think that the last thing they want is that narrative being there.
I would have bet the mortgage that he would have been questionable.
Right.
Like,
as far as listed as questionable.
And you were upset the other day about the listing of the out. Maybe they just put him as questionable because they don't want to get investigated by a league. Like, they don't want to put
they didn't list him as questionable. They listed him as out.
Yeah, and then they eventually changed it. But
and by the way, Bob had some yesterday from watching NBA Live. It is not common for a player to be listed out 2 hours before game time and play. That is not a common occurrence.
Okay.
That is an odd occurrence.
It was his first game back
really
after missing 2 months because of his surgery. And I wonder if that's a loophole or something.
Well, what they said is that he should have been listed as questionable or doubtful. If you say out, he should have been listed as doubtful. It's not common for guys.
All right.
I think they had a graphic up. It's very rare that happens.
Well, tonight he's listed as questionable. And I'm not surprised, but I am more surprised that you're surprised by it.
I'm going to say to you exactly this. You have a different feeling when it comes to Joel Embiid than I do. It's okay. We don't have to have the same feeling on Joel Embiid. You have this. There is it's going to be okay.
I don't think this is an Embiid thing. If a player in any sport makes their first game back, Bryce Harper plays his first game last year after Tommy John surgery, right? I would not have been surprised if after that day he was listed as questionable for the next day because they wanted to see how his body reacted to his first game after Tommy John surgery.
I would not be either, but there's a difference when you're talking about this stuff in Embiid.
No, there could
and the way
be.
it is.
There could be a difference. You're caught up on
you're right. No, you're
the
right.
The injury report doesn't ultimately matter. What matters is if he plays or not tonight. So
and where are you putting the mortgage tonight?
And he plays.
Yeah, I'm not putting the mortgage on it, but
fine. We'll do half mortgage.
Can we split it?
Yeah, are you really putting the mortgage on this one?
We'll parlay it. Embiid plays and Sixers money.
It's the play of the day.
It is, again, it's not that if you told me this was Tyrese Maxey being listed.
He is listed as questionable.
I don't even concern myself with it. When it's Joel Embiid, you have a different mindset when it comes to Embiid than many of the fans do, than many of this. And it's okay.
If this was 2 months ago, let's say pre-injury, right? And Joel Embiid plays in a game, and it looks like he's limping toward the end of it, and he's put it on the injury list as questionable. I go, all right, let's see how this one plays out. This was his second game after his surgery. I am not surprised in the least that he's listed as questionable.
About being surprised or being concerned.
I'm not even concerned.
Okay. Then you're not concerned with the Joel Embiid injury situation. I am. And many fans are too because they see it over and over again.
I would
worried about him. And nobody's calling him soft. Nobody's ripping him for it.
No, I'm not saying that you are ripping him. I'm just surprised that you're so caught up on this. Like, I'm concerned if Keith Pompey or somebody tweeted out yesterday, listed as questionable because he feels discomfort after first game.
Like Keith Pompey, we would agree, knows something, right?
Yes.
Being there every day, we all respect Keith. Keith is on ESPN radio nationally. And he flat out says, this team isn't winning anything. He flat out goes on and says, this team's winning anything.
Okay.
They're not winning a series. They're not winning it. Like, he's of that belief, seeing it. I wonder if part of it is doubting what they're going to be able to get out of Joel Embiid.
Well, he also said he didn't like the team post-trade deadline. That might also be why he feels
that could be.
Whereas I do.
But that's a very bold statement.
It's bold.
Because I don't feel that, and I know a shot glass compared to Keith Pompey on the inner workings of that team. And it was bold to me to hear him be like, they're not winning anything on a national radio show. This team's not winning a series. This team's not doing it. They're not beating. I think if they play Doc Rivers and the Bucks and Joel is healthy,
Yeah.
they could beat the Bucks in a 7
Or
game.
if they get to the 6th seed, they could beat the Cavs. I mean,
No question.
they've beaten them all season long.
You could beat the Cavs. You could beat the Bucks in 7 games. I can't buy the Celtics as far as that. Bob's like, bring on the Celtics.
Hell, by the way, the Magic are just a game and a half back of the Cavs for the 3 seed. So it could be Orlando,
anything.
right? Or it could be
anything.
the Knicks are 1 game back, right? So like it could be the Cavs, it could be the Magic, it could be the Knicks, it could be a million teams.
We all want the same thing. Don't get caught up in the semantics of other people being concerned, because there's concern when it comes to Joel Embiid. And anytime he's injured, I watched that again, the post-game interview. It concerned me, like the grimace on his face.
When he said not feeling good.
Yes, and the grimace on his face and everything like that. That concerned me as to, I don't know the severity of how quickly he came back. He may have come back a week early. Earlier, pushing himself. And God knows I am not blindly trusting the doctors and the coaching staff that caused this situation by allowing him to get back onto that court that night, and he ends up getting hurt more and injured desperately.
Okay.
So I'm just not trusting. We all want the same thing.
No, I know we
all
do.
want to see a big win tonight.
And what I want to know is whether or not people can get excited for tonight's game or for just the playoffs, period. I saw the best show ever was talking about this yesterday. Like, are you back in? Seriously, are you back in? Like,
why not?
Why not? It's a playoff series, right?
Correct.
I talked myself into Eagles-Bucks, even though I knew that the season was coming to an end. But I talked myself into it because it's a playoff game, right?
Right.
This is a playoff series. It's at least 4 more games once they get into the playoffs, which they are going to get into the playoffs. All right, the other thing that we're going to get into today, you texted us an awesome idea yesterday, and you actually brought it to the kids.
I brought it to my students
You
last
brought it
night.
to your students at Temple University yesterday, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, let them do stuff.
They did our show prep for us.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
I tried to get them all to write some digital content too. They rebelled. They rebelled. I thought this will be next week's assignment.
Pay for some diamond dollars for them,
There
and
we
then
go.
they'll take care of it next.
No, they're phasing them out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
horrible.
terrible.
All right, you want to come up with the fan Bill of Rights?
After yesterday,
Can you explain?
you remember how years ago we used to get treated by the airlines? Remember how airlines would just crap all over? Like, they'd leave people on runways for 10 hours.
Yes.
They would cancel flights or bump you, overbook a flight and just bump you to another flight and say, too bad, Andrew, you're going to go on the next flight. Mm-hmm. People were finally so incensed, they went to Congress. Congress actually unified, both parties got together on this.
That's his first.
And and they created a traveler's Bill of Rights.
Okay.
So now, if you get bumped from a flight, they can't just say to you, we overbooked this flight. Andrew, you're going on the next flight, but here are your tickets to the next flight.
Yeah.
Then you say, okay, well, give me my check, too, because I've got money coming to me.
Oh, that's how I paid for my honeymoon flight.
It's beautiful.
It was great.
That's good. We now have rules and regulations that didn't exist. A mandatory amount if they lose your bag. Mandatory amount if you have to stay overnight, to feed you, to do it, and they get compensation. That didn't exist before. After yesterday, and this is Major League Baseball, make this clear, the Phillies are part of an entity where the rules are made.
Right.
That is ridiculous. That the night before a game, so less than 24 hours before a game, you change the game time.
From 1 to 4.
I don't think that's fair. Then you ask people get there at 4, knowing right well that game wasn't starting at 4.
Right.
Because the team and sources from both sides told the story. The teams wanted to play this game.
And the first thing I said
and
to
they
that
were willing
was,
to wait out any rain delay because they wanted to guard their day off.
there's no way the teams meant players. There's no way. Do you think a player wanted to play through that?
No, I wouldn't think so, but I do believe that I've seen times where players are very protective of days
Right, no,
off.
I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't think when the reports say teams, I don't think Topper went up to Bryson Stott. Oh, hey, Dave, he wants to play today.
Yeah, I don't think they had a team vote.
No, I think it was the organizations, either the presidents or the money people that said, let's play this one.
Why would the Phillies want to play yesterday?
I don't know, dude.
Like, when you have a train ride to D.C., a simple train ride to get down to D.C. for the next road game, for the weekend series. You don't have to catch a plane. It's really simple. Amtrak will get you the next train possible. I don't think they're busing. I think they will take the Amtrak down. There's no reason why you wouldn't have played today.
Right.
And to me, I think the fans who were there at 4 o'clock, that I was in my car driving home from class at 8 o'clock at first pitch. 8 o'clock. That's unacceptable.
No, it's horrible.
That's
unacceptable. So you want to come up with a fan bill of rights. You want to come up with our rights, damn it.
Yeah, so what should be and you know, we get people to text in their ideas. You can call in your ideas. But much like we did with the airlines, no one thought that would ever exist.
Right.
It does.
So let's come up with
I think
some.
fans need some.
So coming your way next to sort of explain more, you will give one.
I guess.
I will give one.
Good.
Connor will give one. We will give you 3 our top fan Bill of Rights, and this is stemming off of last night's atrocity, a 7-hour delay until first pitch.
Which is a Major League Baseball policy.
And oh, by the way, it was a great showing of like 16 people. It was horrible yesterday. So we're going to give our first issues of the fan Bill of Rights, and we would love to hear from you. Like John said, either on the phone lines or text line, 610-632-0975. You can also tweet in some answers. So we'll get more of that coming your way next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A long loss for the Phillies. I'm Connor Thomas.
Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Sixers Heat tonight, a game that we're going to be fired up for as long as Joel Embiid plays. Right, Johnny?
Yeah, I'll be mildly excited. If he's not playing, it is a complete sag. If he's not playing tonight, I'm trying to buy back in and trying to get really excited about what might happen in 10 days.
Right.
He doesn't play tonight. That absolutely is a balloon beam.
Now, I'm expecting him
because it's
to
a big
play
game.
Tonight. It is a big game, and I'm expecting him to play for it, and hopefully they can pull one out because if they do win, they're a half game back of Miami, who's currently in the 6th seed. So it is a big game today.
It's exciting.
And I wonder, are people excited for a Sixers game again?
I think if they know Embiid's playing.
All right, let's go into the assumption that he's playing tonight.
Yes, I think if we go into the assumption that he's playing, I think everybody's pumped.
Everybody?
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody is. That's why I literally asked the question last week if people actually care that he's coming back. I think the reaction to him playing the other night was good. I think people checked it out. I mean, we know a lot of people checked out the show yesterday in response to Joel Embiid playing and Bryce Harper's 3 home run game. But, I don't know if people are willing on it on a Thursday night, maybe because there's nothing else going on, right? The Phillies are off today. The Flyers don't play till tomorrow.
Flyers play Friday, Saturday.
Maybe it is because it's the only Philadelphia game going on tonight that a lot of people are in. But I wonder if a lot of people are also just putting their feet back in the water tonight. I don't know if people...
Well, maybe people easing themselves back in. And why would they be doing that, though? It's all because of the big man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's I don't think it's outrageous. It's got to be there. If people are going to buy in, they got to buy in that this team is actually healthy with a shot.
Right.
And if you get Embiid and Maxey tonight in Miami, that to me, then that becomes must-see TV.
Yeah, and now it's a playoff preview. To your point, it could be the play-in matchup, the first round play-in matchup. All right, so the other thing that we're doing today, I love the idea. You texted this to us yesterday. You want to come up with the fan Bill of Rights, and it's because of it was an atrocity yesterday. The fact that the game was originally scheduled for 1, moved to 4.
On the night before, moved to 4.
And I think we all still thought that at one point it was still going to get canceled. Every single beat was saying, yeah, they're saying there's a window. We don't really see that window. And then there's a lot of people that were posting the photo of the radar. And everyone's going, where is this radar?
Darren, one of our emailers, sends along a note last night. And he said John and Andrew weren't the only two that were affected. I was going down with my office staff.
Yeah.
He was taking his office staff down. Now, we are just a group of 8 people. But when they moved the game from 1 to 4, immediately 5 members of my team had to beg out.
Right.
Child care issues.
Yep, that was mine.
Family obligations. One of my employees had a school function that he had to be at for his kids that night. If it's a 1 o'clock game, we can go. If it's a 4 o'clock game, we can't. He said, it wasn't just you guys feeling it yesterday. It's us. And I find it really strange that teams can just change game times or then, and we went. Expect people to go through a 4-hour rain delay. We left at 7:15.
So now that's my
They
biggest...
left at 7:15.
And that's horrible.
By the way, he paid for parking.
So I'm gonna,
got into the building.
I'll give you my first fan Bill of Rights. But that was the biggest. Look, the fact that it got moved to 4 o'clock, so be it. If they tried playing at 1, they weren't. I mean, you drove out of here. It was
obscene.
So they weren't going to play at 1 o'clock. Even if they said game time's not changing, and you went to the ballpark, they were not going to start at 1 o'clock. They were probably going to start closer to 4. But the fact that it kept on getting pushed all the way till 8 o'clock, you should have just moved it to today. The games should be played today. Other teams around baseball move their games.
And it could have been today. There's no reason why they couldn't have made that decision.
But we want our day off.
I don't care that they want their day off. For God's sakes, you have consumers. You have customers.
And then, oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I don't like to overreact to games early on in the season. If you don't, you want to cherish your day off tomorrow, you better freaking play. They did not show up yet. That game was horrible yesterday.
It was horrible.
Zach Wheeler did good, and the Reds only scored 4 runs, but the Phillies only scored 1, and it was a Kyle Schwarber solo home run.
So what would be? It was a Schwarber laser.
Yes.
So what would be on your fan Bill of Rights?
All right, so my
you want to go first there
fan Bill of Rights.
Yes.
Sometimes there are issues, right? Weather is an issue.
Okay.
If the game was still scheduled for 1 o'clock and it didn't happen until 4 o'clock because of the weather, it's not the Phillies' fault. It's nobody's fault.
Correct.
if you are going to keep on pushing the game back, everybody that paid for parking should have gotten refunded their parking, even if they stayed through the game, because all 10 of them, right? Like there was nobody there last night. There's nobody there.
Everyone's parking should be refunded.
They make so much money, billions of dollars. The $25, $30 that they're going to have to give back to the person that braved the elements and sat through that horrible night last night
Or
and that
left.
horrible game, by the way, or left, should have gotten their money back, because it's not the fans' fault that show up to a game that's originally scheduled for 1, moved to 4, doesn't happen until 8 o'clock. For the people that stay in the game, at least a free hot dog or something. Because if it's free, it's me. People love free stuff.
Absolutely.
You should see when we have our station events, right? We put out some of the weirdest T-shirts in the world. God bless our promotions department. But we put out some of the weirdest movie T-shirts that I never even heard of the movie. And people go, oh my God, a free shirt? They love it. There would be somebody that would be willing to sit in that horrible game last night, that horrible weather, where the team that wanted a day off yesterday basically took a day off yesterday because they didn't play well. A free hot dog, you change somebody's mood.
Can't do the free hot dog. They'll throw them. So you got to come up with a different item.
The free souvenir soda where they get the cup of the player.
Love that,
the $10 that they lose when there's 12 people there anyway, what's the big deal?
I did business in San Fran when I was in the business world and would take customers out there to games at Candlestick Park.
Okay.
I think I have 2 or 3 of them left. They used to give you a pin at Candlestick Park if you stayed for an extra inning game
That's cool.
because the weather conditions were not good.
Right.
I think they were called the Croix de Candlestick or something. It was like a cross that you bared the cross and you carried
That
the
you-
cross
you-
and you made it through
You
an
braved through it.
But you only got it if you were leaving the game after the final out.
Okay.
And I think I have 2 or 3 of these things in the little plastic bags that they would give them to you, and you would see people
Wearing them.
wearing them.
Yeah.
It was a cute thing. Fans would stick around in games because they wanted to get their cross.
Right.
So it was just a gimmick.
I
like
want
your
them-
idea.
I want them
The
to-
parking should be mandatory. Like this guy, he brings now 2. You're going with 3 members of your office. You've got probably 3 guys. They probably paid parking too. Maybe they didn't all travel down together.
Right. And oh, by the way, the team already got their money. You paid for the tickets. If somebody doesn't show up, or if somebody leaves early, or if somebody leaves before the game because they can't wait a 4th hour,
Right.
you already got their money through the tickets. I'm not asking you to refund the tickets. You pay for the tickets. That's part of, I'm sure somewhere on the ticket line, we're not responsible if you can't make the game, right? But if somebody goes there and pays for parking, give them the freaking hot dog. That's my number one for the fan.
So
Bill
that's
of
your
Rights.
number one.
What do you got?
I'll give you one, and this came from one of my students, and I think it's really an interesting one.
That's plagiarism.
Yes, but I'm no. It's only plagiarism if you don't credit the student.
Yes.
Okay.
And oh, by the way, they sent it to the professor. He's the professor.
By the
It's
way,
his
I
day.
think it was Dave Neville that came up with it. The NFL doesn't care if they flex a game from a Sunday afternoon to a Sunday night.
Yeah.
But there are many fans, like I was for many years, that would travel to Eagles games and fly up. You book your hotels, you book your way in advance. If they switch it to a Sunday night game, you got to get another night's hotel because you can't fly out. There's not a flight waiting for you.
Or John,
to be able to fly
two
back.
more nights.
Or,
the
they switch
Eagles
it.
game got flexed to a Monday.
From Sunday night to Monday
The
night.
Eagles Seahawks game
Seattle
earlier
game.
this year, Vince from Philly Sports
Right.
Strips had to maneuver everything.
I think fans who travel from out of town that book flights and hotel rooms that are then expected to change their plans on the fly receive penalties from the airlines, maybe have to book an extra night hotel, maybe have to take more time off of work. I think they should either be able to have the option to get a full refund on their tickets or be refunded any costs of change.
Or how about we make it less difficult? Ban flexing games. I guarantee you.
You're banning all flex.
I guarantee you, the millions and millions and millions of people that, oh my God, they moved the Eagles-Cowboys game to Sunday night, Week 17. I bet you those millions and millions of people would still watch it at 4:25.
They absolutely would.
They would still watch it at 1 o'clock, as long as you make it a nationally televised game.
So no more. You're saying
I said
no
get rid of
more
flexing.
flex. No more flex.
What? no flex zone. Like I don't know why. Like I don't know why that's allowed. I get it for TV viewership and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what they're doing.
But networks always get screwed by it. Fox 1 o'clock game would probably want that Eagles-Cowboys game. They get screwed. It goes to see NBC Sunday night.
Connor, you're nodding. Are you going? Because I think it's weird. Is that I don't know that I'd go with that one because I'm one of those people who has complained about lousy games. Why are we being subjected to this game when there's all these great games?
I understand that.
I get it.
It avoids all this, paying penalties.
It does.
It just avoids it.
I wouldn't do it. I was just singing "No Flex Zone" in my head once he said it.
Are you proud,
okay.
proud of me
I was
for that
bopping
one?
around back here. It's not bad, kid.
Everyone thinks I'm just the country guy around here.
You guys are kind of stuck on the framing of games and how they're played, and I think there's more to it than that. So I'm going to step outside of that realm a little bit. I look at jersey purchases. And obviously you can't do like retailers, but from the actual teams, I think you should have a 30-day period where if you purchase a jersey, if that player's no longer on the team within 30 days, you can redeem it for another jersey.
Can I say this?
Go ahead.
You're saying 30 days.
30 days.
Who is the, I will say, dumb fan who would buy a jersey knowing that their player's on a trading block? Because you don't just
I don't know. Think about it this way.
There's
right?
enough rumors around players being moved. It should be maybe more than 30. It's got to be more than 30 days, dude.
Well, I mean, if you go too long, it's
Now,
just
wait a
like,
minute, though. There is one of my students had this idea, just like you, because I didn't share with you their ideas. And their idea was if within 6 months of purchase, you can have a jersey relettered and renumbered for free if a player is traded or released by the organization.
And I'll go one further. Maybe even more than 6 months if, I don't know, your goaltender is a part of a major scandal and, maybe you don't want that name in your jersey or in your closet. I think the team should say, hey, you want a Sam Ersson jersey? You want a Fedotov jersey?
Well, how about if first of all, it should only be replica jerseys.
Right. Yes, yeah.
You can't have people buying
not the jersey,
buying the cheapies and then saying it. But I would agree with you on a Carter Hart. I think the Flyers.
Not that it's the Flyers' fault.
No, but I'm saying it's not the Flyers' fault. But if I was the Flyers, I'd say if you have a Carter Hart replica jersey, we will re-letter it and renumber it for free.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And I think there's goodwill in things that can be handled.
I agree with that. All right, so the Fan Bill of Rights. I know we're getting a bunch of texts on this, so
Good.
we'll get to the text line coming your way next. Question number 1 about the Sixers game tonight against the Miami Heat. Are you finally back to being excited for a Sixers game, right? It was a surprise when he played against the Thunder, Joel Embiid. So does this mean you now have a full day of hopefully knowing that he plays tonight? Are you getting yourself excited for tonight's game? Are you setting aside time? Like, you know that 7:30 you're going to be at a bar or you're going to be on your couch, you're going to be in the Kincade watching tonight's game. So are you getting up excited for a Sixers game? It's back, baby. Also, the Fan Bill of Rights. What is something that you want to add to the Fan Bill of Rights? We'll run through these as the show continues. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Philadelphia Flyers
Excited
hockey.
to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time is the night of a potential playoff preview. Sixers Heat tonight, 7:30. You'll be able to listen live right here on the Fanatic. Are you getting up for it? Are you excited for it? It's 7:30 now. Put it in the calendar. You do the countdown clock all the time.
I do.
Is tonight countdown clock worthy? No. I'm not saying for you, but I'm saying
no. It's not for anybody.
All right, is tonight set the alarm reminder worthy? Okay.
Yes.
Like, so it's 7:25 because, maybe people are eating dinner or they're cleaning up dinner or something. I got the plumbing finally fixed. I was able to wash dishes for the first time in like 3 days. I was able to shower for the first time in like 2 days. So
I appreciate
my
that.
apologies for the last couple of days of stank.
Are you though? I'm a absolute get to a game 20 minutes late and fast forward through commercials.
No, I'd rather be on time. But if I'm late, back time for Cooper.
Right.
A lot of the times I am late nowadays.
But do you go back to the beginning or you just pick it up?
Yeah, back to the beginning, fast forward.
I like getting to a game 20 to 25 minutes late and fast forwarding the commercials.
I can't do that.
And I usually catch up. If you watch a Sixers game, from the time game time is, you usually will catch up right at the beginning of the third quarter.
Yeah, look, if I have to do it, I'll do it. I don't do it on purpose. That's like I don't want to look at my phone because God forbid somebody texts you or something.
I don't have to touch my phone. I hate my phone.
I got to get my tweets off, so I'm there.
Yeah, I got to give my
minutes.
come on, man. I got to
say
give
this
content.
team's going places.
People need to know that I know ball. I mean, that's the point of social media.
Those 16 people are going to like another Sixers tweet.
So the other thing that we're doing is the Fan Bill of Rights. It was a great idea from John yesterday. It was in response to the Phillies kicking the can down the road about the start time from 1 to 8 o'clock. And I think if your game gets pushed that far, people should get refunded parking for those who braved the elements or for those who had to end up leaving earlier, like the guy that emailed you.
He paid. They had a game, so he doesn't have any rights.
Right.
And he sat there for 3 hours in the building.
Still wasn't there for the start, which is horrible. What texts do we have about the Fan Bill of Rights? We got to write these down, and maybe this will be our digital content post for later, Johnny.
So we've got a couple check-ins, a lot of it surrounding what's going on with the Phillies yesterday. No alcohol, but fans should be allowed a $30 free voucher for free food and soft drinks at that game or a future game.
$30?
If you have to sit through. Yeah, that'll get you 2 sodas.
Yeah.
So if you sit through that, that's from Matt. We got another person checking in saying a change in start time with less than 24-hour notice, free ticket for another game in a similar seat or cash compensation. And they say it's basically what their dentist has for changing an appointment. And
but you can't, again, if you buy a ticket to a Phillies game and it rains in April, it's not the Phillies' fault. It's something like this, though, where like they did give people theoretically enough time to know that the game's going to be at 4 o'clock. It's the problem when they're like, oh, no, we're going to play, and it's 4 to 8. Let me add one. Do you have any more?
I have one more.
All right, give us one more, and then I have another one that just hit me during this conversation.
If it's a weekday game, a school night ticket should automatically be transferred to another game to make it easier on parents. So if you get delayed on a weekday.
But the problem is, what if it's a sellout?
Exactly, then they can't get you into another game.
So there are, look, the Fan Bill of Rights, I get it. This is for us, but we also have to be logical about this. Like, there are some things that they can't do.
And that's why we're being logical.
So how about this? Everything's digital nowadays, right? There's no more paper tickets. If the game time's at 4 o'clock and you go into the stadium at 3:30 and then gets pushed till 8, you should be allowed to exit the stadium and then come back.
I never understood that.
See, I don't think that's bad.
The reentry?
No, because you're letting someone else in. Someone else takes your ticket. You give someone else your ticket.
Right. That ticket should be able to be scanned again.
When you leave, you shouldn't be able to leave the building and then have somebody else get in on the ticket.
We have good enough technology. We could figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, that could work.
But
that's an interesting
one. It's like the you're not allowed to be on the tarmac for how long? Without getting water or something?
Like 2 hours or something.
Okay. That was a 4-hour delay. Why should you be trapped in a building to what you said? Haley, who was there yesterday, said a lot of the food places were closed.
So I guess they sent those workers home.
Yeah. So they should let you leave the building, go to the parking lot, have a couple extra beers, or go drive to Wawa and get a sandwich.
What if you went over to Live Casino?
Go to Live Casinos.
Play some cards.
Be able to entertain yourself and not just be sitting in the. By the way, it's not like it's a dome, so it's
freezing.
It's a freezing cold. You could stand in the Phillies team store as long as you want, and then there's a million other people in there, and it's 4 hours, right? I think you should be able, if it's a 4-hour delay like that, to leave the stadium and come back in.
I don't mind that one.
Now they'll tell you security reasons you can't do that, but you should. They're doing face recognition nowadays. Recognize my face, damn it. There's only 10 of us here. I'll be back in a couple hours.
Wow, guys on the morning show now, you recognize his face.
No, when there's 10 people, take a photo of me. Put it on. Everybody's got a cell phone. All right. I like this idea. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Matt in Plymouth Meeting. What's up, Matt?
Hey, morning.
Morning, Matt.
So I have an 8-year-old son.
Okay.
We plan our ticket purchases for stars coming to town, essentially.
Yes.
Load management has bid us twice in the last 3 years.
Oh, man.
I forget who.
I'm sure Jimmy Butler.
Might have been Butler, and I feel like
that's happened a couple of times.
And I feel like Jokic was one. But I think, like you said, everything's digital now, right?
Yes.
When you buy your ticket, there should be an option for like an insurance. I would pay an extra $20.
I think there is, at least on the Phillies website. I know that for a fact.
No, well, this is load manager. This is NBA.
Right. I wonder if there is. I think you can maybe buy ticket insurance, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's a weather thing. I don't know if you could just say, oh, Jimmy Butler's not playing tonight, I'm not going to go to the game.
Matt, I think NBA treats their fans the worst. Absolutely pees on their fans and says, we don't care about you. And by the way, you pay more when stars are coming to town.
Right.
For a lot of these teams.
Exactly.
They do surge pricing.
I think Matt's onto something. But
I like it, Matt.
So, Matt, all right, I like that. We'll do.
But we got to figure out how to your idea.
I think, like, when you're buying your tickets, there'd be a drop-down box for a star you're paying to see.
Yeah, like, why? Like, you know how people say, how did you find our website? You ask, why are you buying today's ticket? And you say to see this star player. Matt, I like how I appreciate it.
We have to massage that one.
Yes.
Because there's that would be really difficult to execute.
But
no, I agree with him.
How many times have you seen the poor kid with the poster traveled 8,000 miles to see this guy play?
To see LeBron wearing street clothes.
And then the guy doesn't play.
Right. Or Joel Embiid in other cities.
Dude, think about the process.
Right.
When people bought tickets just to see the star players come in, and then the player doesn't end up playing. I think he's on to something, Matt. That's a great one for Matt. So, look, keep these coming on the text line or on the phone line, 610-632-0975. You can send some in during social media as well. Coming up next, we'll get more of these. I think this is going to be a lot of fun today. The Fan Bill of Rights. Now, the reason why we're even talking about this is because the game got pushed to 8 o'clock. There was a game yesterday. We'll talk about the game yesterday because
we have to?
It was an ugly one. And speaking of the Fan Bill of Rights, you talk about entertainment?
Yes.
The Phillies are top 10 in something. I'll tell you what that is next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
about First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed. Kincade Salciunas. Coming up in the entire 8 o'clock hour. We did this last week. For the entire 8 o'clock hour, we'll be joined by Andrew DeCecco from Inside the Birds, as we are now another week closer. 3 Thursdays from now will be round 1 of the NFL draft, and Andrew DeCecco is a draft nut. So we're gonna get some more of his input, his insight. I know they did the special show last night, him and Bill Colarulo here on the station. So we'll have Andrew coming up for the entire 8 o'clock hour. You can start sending in some questions now if you want on social media, or you can even text them in to Connor at 610-632-0975, and we'll have them ready for when Andrew joins us. And I know sometimes you can't call in right at 8 o'clock. So if you send them in now, we'll have the questions ready for Andrew at 8 o'clock.
And by the way, if there's something you ever really want to know from any one of our guests that's coming up that we're teasing, if Connor thinks it's a good question, Connor will get it to us.
Yeah, and we'll ask it. Like, we have Kevin Nagandi coming up at 9 o'clock. So
whether Connor's smart or not with deciphering, we'll judge that later.
We'll figure that one out.
And it's no.
We'll figure that one out. So, yeah, Andrew DeCecco joins us for the entire 8 o'clock hour today. But for the next hour, we continue the conversation about the Sixers' excitement for tonight's game. If you're starting to feel it a little bit, right? Like, the big man's back. The playoffs are right around the corner. This is a big matchup tonight, Sixers-Heat.
Is he back?
He's playing.
Okay.
I don't know how you're so caught up on the questionable thing.
If he's not playing, it does change for everybody.
No, absolutely.
Even people responding on Twitter being like, it's just an annual thing where we're waiting to see if he's playing or not.
Right,
it's that
but
we're hoping that this is going to be a great return for LeBron.
I
almost said LeBron.
Bring him, Bronny for Bron.
No, thank you. It would be a great thing if Joel Embiid is healthy and ready to go.
And I think tonight, I'm surprised that you were surprised that he was listed as questionable. I think that's the rest of his life. He'll be listed as questionable till the day he dies. That's who he is, man. And so be it. It is what we just have to deal with. But I don't think he's listed as questionable with the potential chance of him not playing. I think they just have it on there, especially because they're potentially being investigated right now for what happened the other night. So Also, the fan Bill of Rights. We're going to get back to the phones a little bit because there's some more people with additions to the fan Bill of Rights, and we'll decide whether or not we can do them. Like the people that are saying we should get full refund for tickets if we can't make it to a game. Like,
well, I would say that if it's a game that has been
pushed for 7 hours, yes.
Or you switch the game time on people. You should like that gentleman who sent the letter. I'm sorry, Darren. I believe it was Darren with his staff. Those people he should be able to get a refund.
From 4 to 8, yes. From 1 to 4, no.
I think 1 to 4, yes.
It was the previous day.
I think 1 to 4, yes, because it was the night before.
Right.
And to me, a 1 o'clock game is a special engagement. Look, you and I,
business person special.
You and I would have been there 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Couldn't be there 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I had to go teach. You have to go take care of your kid. It's like people have obligations.
Right.
I don't think the team should be able to move games within 24 hours. And I understand. It's a Major League Baseball world. They allow it to happen. I don't think that's fair.
Okay. I'll meet you halfway, though. Like the 4 to 8. Like, once you move it 4 to 8, like, you should start hooking up the people that had tickets and didn't make it, or even those who stayed. Like, that's why I say give people the free. The 12 people that were at Citizens Bank Park yesterday should have got a free T-shirt, a free hot dog, a free whatever.
I think the most special thing is a afternoon game in baseball. Because many times people will buy tickets to an afternoon game because of the fact that they can take a little kid.
Yes.
And they know it's not dinner. They got to get them home and got to get them to bed.
Right.
Or school and things like that.
And there were probably little kids that stuck through it yesterday, and that must have been hard for parents. Like, that's terrible. So we'll get a couple more on the text line, and we'd love to hear from you on the phones at 610-632-0975. But let's talk about the game itself for a little bit.
Must we? I get you.
I mean, it was just horrible last night. And, this is the same team that was saying that they wanted to play, and they waited 7 hours. Schwarber hits the home run. That's great. And, it makes it a 3-1 ball game in the 6th. But it's another day where they just laid down, man.
Did you see? I got to tell you, the way that the Phillies players, they were dressed like they were being asked to play in a snowstorm.
Right.
And to me, you can't be at your best.
Well, Harper hit 3 home runs like that.
But it's like you can't.
He was dressed like that 2 nights ago and he hit 3 home runs.
You can't. But he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he managed to overcome it. No, you're beat. I remember the NFC title game with the Falcons and the Eagles in 2005,
and how they were the Vic jacket.
And
I remember the Vic jacket.
They came out, and I saw the Falcon players coming out, and I'm going, they're screwed because here are the Eagles. Just in normal conditions, and the Falcons were miserable.
Right.
It's tough. They're saying they want to play. Didn't look it.
And it just sucks. It's the second wasted Wheeler start. Wheeler pitched tremendously on opening day. Bullpen blows that one. Oh, by the way, the offense barely did anything for him anyway. And then last night, I know they scored 3 runs, but there was, after an error and a hit by pitch, he only allows 1 earned run. He strikes out 10 in 6 innings.
1 earned run.
And
that's all that matters.
And it's the second wasted start for Zach Wheeler.
Another error.
Yeah, another error.
This team, base running, errors, it's just they play poor fundamental baseball, and they have for years, and it never gets better.
No.
It never gets better.
It's been a rough start, but I do want to congratulate you guys.
What's that?
Yep.
You finally saw him off the schneid, Johan Rojas.
That's good.
He got hit number 1. Good look.
Big time stuff.
It was only April 3rd. No, I'm just congratulating you guys. You guys have stuck with him. He got his first hit, and it only took until April 3rd. That's
all right. This is going to be the first game you guys don't like me.
Why?
Because
no, it's not.
I was not really all that bothered by the Phillies' performance last night.
It's only game 6. I get it. It's just it sucked.
Why wouldn't that bother you? Like
I don't want to be the conditions guy, but I'm going to be the conditions guy.
How are the conditions for the Reds that scored 4 runs?
Reds were okay?
I'm not talking about the offense, but I'm just saying, like, Bryce Harper almost fell over twice trying to field the ball at first base. The wind was insane with balls
The Phillies had 2 errors. The Reds had 0. They played in the same conditions. The Reds scored 4 runs. The Phillies scored 1. The Reds played in the same conditions.
I don't understand the conditions.
You can't give me the conditions
I'm
thing,
not
dude.
justifying the loss. I'm justifying the quality of play. Okay, I don't think it was a good baseball game. I don't think you can learn anything about the team in that type
I get
of
it.
game.
The conditions were horrible the night before. If there was a Reds fan tweeting at us saying you only won because of the conditions, I would call that guy a moron.
I'm not saying
you can't
no,
go
no.
conditions.
They lost because they played worse.
Yes,
but I'm not worried about the Phillies' defense or their base running or stuff like that because I just don't think it was a situation where it was a true game that should have been played.
Okay, and I agree with that it should have been played yesterday, but it was
both
played.
Teams played it.
Look, I'm not saying the season's over, right?
Yeah, I know.
Right. But it was just it was another crappy game to watch last night, and now they're 2-4, and that doesn't mean the season's over. There's 162 games. You know how I feel about it. I go 10 game increments before I make determinations about how this guy's playing. Is that guy in a cold streak, or was that just a bad game, right? But last night was a bad game. It sucked. You sit through it. I was in my warm house waiting till 8 o'clock, and I'm watching this game, and I'm doing, what am I doing? Like, this sucks.
Not fun.
Not fun. All right. It's all right, Connor. You make the excuses.
It's all right, baby.
For your boys.
I will.
For your boys in red. All right. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
In terms of the Bill of Rights, the fan Bill of Rights,
Yes.
a team's roster, can you somehow put that in the Bill of Rights? The reason why I ask that is look at what's going on in Oakland, right, with the A's. Like, they're just peeing in the face of A's fans, right? The Phillies.
Like the Sixers did.
Like the Sixers did.
Right, like those teams did.
So I'm asking you.
No, I mean,
you're anti-process.
Right. No, absolutely.
So should that be added to the Bill of Rights?
No, because you don't have to buy the tickets.
Okay.
You buy the tickets willingly. You do that willingly.
Okay.
If you what was this group? I heard you tell the story one day. What was this group that you used to hang out with?
Don't you dare disrespect the Revolutionaries.
This cosplay group.
Don't you dare disrespect the Revolutionaries. Don't you dare disrespect the Revolutionaries. Arnett Moultrie needed people to cheer for him. Furkan Aldemir, not Korkmaz. Aldemir needed people to cheer for him, man.
I didn't know Andrew was a cosplay kid. I mean, are we going to like Comic-Con too? And
no, but
to do this?
So
dress up?
Me and my buddy Joey, we did not dress up. However,
you didn't dress up. Well, then you weren't one of them.
Whoa. I was there every night. I did not dress up, but we used our diamond dollars, and we went to the big printers at Temple.
Oh, okay.
And we printed out the faces that you saw, the fathead faces. That was me and my buddy Joey.
Your parents must be really proud you're using your diamond dollars.
The diamond dollars, man. Yeah. So we were the ones that had the fat heads of Spencer Hawes and all those. That was us. So the best part about it was the tickets were free, so I didn't pay.
Why were they free?
Because they wanted people in the building.
So I
didn't pay for
every game?
I would say out of 41 games, I probably went to 30.
And they were free every time?
Free every time.
How were they? Where were you getting them free? I don't understand.
At the end of every game that you went to, they said, here. And
really?
If one night my buddy couldn't go, I would go get the 2 tickets.
They would bring you.
And then if I couldn't go, he would. Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I didn't know that.
And so as a college kid.
That's awesome.
You go to a free game, pay $3.60 back and forth on the Broad Street line. And, oh, by the way, those tickets were also free when the Heat came to town with LeBron James and D. Wade.
But you weren't dressed up in your little costume.
No, I was not a costume guy. However,
cosplay.
I did the fathead. Don't you dare disrespect the
what are you over here for? I'm not getting in the middle
Connor,
of this.
I would see. Would you do cosplay?
No.
Yeah,
all right, so the reason why I even bring up the entertainment value of the roster, the Phillies, congratulations, are a top 10 team in something, John.
What?
ESPN put together the MLB 2024 Watchability Index.
All right.
So here's what goes into the Watchability Index.
All right.
Star power.
Okay, they have it.
Exciting, young players. Base running. 4- and 5-star catches.
Who are the exciting young players?
Bryson Stott, I would say, is still considered a young player.
What, he's 26?
Still, I mean, he's not Randy Arozarena, but he's
no. I mean, I don't think
player.
a guy 25 and above is a young.
Okay,
player.
4- and 5-star catches, 400.
Well, that's Rojas.
Yes.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Because anybody else, they can barely they field the ball like it's a grenade.
Correct.
I mean, Trey Turner acts like it's like there's landmines.
Bohm makes exciting catches because of his height. I'm not saying he's the greatest fielder. He makes exciting catches. 425+ foot home runs. You get that.
Okay, we get that.
And there's a bonus section. Anything else that they wanted to add? So the Phillies came in 7th for watchability.
I think they're fun to watch.
Star power they put as a 9. Youth they put as a 1.
Yeah, they don't have a young team.
Base running 5, catches 3, 425, home runs 4. But yeah, so they came in 7th. Does that important to you for Bill of Rights?
No.
In terms of product?
No, because the Bill of Rights, there should be. You're not obligated to. You buy tickets.
Okay.
And if you buy tickets to watch a crappy product, that's on you.
That's on you. Okay.
So I don't put that in there.
All right, let's go to Craig in Deptford. Craig, you're on the Fanatic.
Hey, good morning.
What's up, man?
Good. So I've been watching the Sixers, and I've been watching the Celtics a lot, and it's like I'm like you guys, man. I just don't know what you're going to get out of Embiid. I'm not really like super excited to have him back. It's just kind of like you said, a big question mark on when is he going to get hurt again, or is he going to have?
No. I am excited that he's back. I'm super excited that he's back. Now, do I think they're going to beat the Celtics in a playoff series? No, I do not.
No. I think the Celtics are going to win the whole thing. But I say that to say that even with the preliminary games, what are you looking for? Are we hoping to say, okay, we got to the second round? Are we looking to say, all right, you know what? At some point, this guy's career has been what it is. And is there a point where you decide to move on? You never really move on because he's such a special player. But, you know, look at all of these teams that have had special players that have never won, right? I think he's going to fall into that category.
Yeah, I mean, he won't be the first player to have been special and to have never won. But I'll say this, Craig, from now until the end of the regular season, this is what I'm looking for. Not, hey, can this team win a championship? I'm looking for, is Joel Embiid on the court impactful? And we saw that in Game 1. He was. Eight assists and played great defense.
He's a great player. And my second point was the American Express credit card offers a feature where you can return jerseys regardless of time.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the commercials for that.
That's really good, Craig.
Yeah. They have a thing where you can return a jersey regardless of how long it is, as long as you purchase the other jersey from them.
But I will say this, Craig, and thanks for the call. Not everybody has American Express, so it should be up to the teams. Just period.
Yeah, if
a player gets traded, and again, it has to be a window, right? Like, you know,
I said that my student said 6 months. 6 months, and you have to keep your proof of purchase.
Okay. Oh, you got to have the receipt on it.
You got to have your receipt, and 6 months later, you have 6 months.
Because I bought a Shady McCoy jersey
before they traded him,
and then Chip traded him for Kiko Alonso. So I would have gotten that jersey back.
You would have they would have.
Or I would have I would have redone the jersey. Right.
No, I think that would be fair. If you only buy replica, not replica, authentic.
Yeah, authentic with the stitching and everything.
If you buy replica, no. If you buy jerseys, no.
Right.
Now, the Carter Hart thing, I really do believe in. I really do believe that, and I know the Flyers organization is doing so many good things.
Yeah.
So many right things. I wouldn't be shocked if they end up doing
that. Yeah. I mean, it would be. I think
if you bought an authentic jersey,
I think it'd be pretty cool for the Flyers to do that. I think it would be cool for any team to do that. If a player is ever in serious trouble, does something seriously wrong, you should be able to. You don't want that name. Look, the team doesn't want that name out there.
Right.
But,
and they can't do it. And I understand, by the way, they can't do it now.
Right. No, of course not. But
so
didn't the Patriots ban Aaron Hernandez jerseys?
They didn't. Sell them. No, the NFL did too.
Right, they banned him from going into stadiums. So if somebody had one, they should be able to change it.
You couldn't buy one.
Right, but I'm saying if somebody already owned one, that should have been able to be changed to your fan bill of rights, Connor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I got a problem with that though.
Why?
If they say you can't wear an Aaron Hernandez jersey into the stadium, let's get Slip and Benny in on this one, because I swear to you, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I don't think it's ridiculous.
But it's ridiculous.
I think they wanted to try to get that name out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be able to tell you what jersey. They sold you that jersey at one time.
Right. So
they should not be able to tell you.
But what I'm saying is you should then have been able to have change that jersey for something else.
Yeah, if you want to, though. They can't. They shouldn't be able to tell you. I didn't realize that.
They can tell you what you can wear to a stadium. They can tell you
but they shouldn't be able to tell you that.
They can tell you what not to wear on other shirts. Why is it different because it's a player's jersey? Like if they want to distance themselves.
Because they sold it to you.
Yeah, but they didn't know he was a murderer.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be able to tell you can't wear it into the stadium. Honestly,
they probably go. This is a dark cloud over our team. We want to do whatever we can to not have that name in our stadium. I don't think that's crazy.
Well, I absolutely do. I don't think you should be able to be told you can't wear it. If you tell me you're saying you don't want them to have F and NOLA,
right? They shouldn't have that
different.
Either. Right?
That is absolutely different than a jersey that the team sold you, saying you're no longer allowed to wear it. No, I don't. It could be your last name. I don't know what it is. It could be your last name and you decided to buy
All right,
it.
then change the number. Then you have to rip the number off or something. I don't know. I don't blame the Patriots or any team that would want to do that.
I don't either.
Right? All right, let's go to Kevin in the Northeast. Kevin, you're on the Fanatic.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hi,
How
Kev.
you doing, Kev?
So I had tickets for opening day that I bought on a secondary market. That game got canceled, and that secondary
It
market
didn't get
Got
canceled.
moved to Friday.
It just got
moved to
rescheduled.
Okay, I'm sorry, moved to Friday. I couldn't go. Secondary market basically said they're your tickets, whatever. So I sold them and got my money back. But I was going to Tuesday's game. It was like 2 o'clock and raining. I called the Phillies ticket office, which I had tickets from them. They exchanged those tickets for a game in May. And then I wound up buying tickets for Tuesdays on another app, at like 5 o'clock. And I sat in the third row for $10 a ticket. So they work with the fans sometimes.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah, and that's because you also called ahead of time, right? Like
You called and you did it a day ahead.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem, Kev.
The day on Tuesday's game, Tuesday that they wound up playing, I called at like 2 o'clock because it was raining and I didn't feel like going.
Right.
They said, how come you don't want to go to Tuesday's game? I said, well, it's going to rain. I don't feel like going.
Are you
And
a
they said,
season
well,
ticket holder?
No, I just go to about 10 to 12 games. Not
Okay.
season tickets.
And
I
that,
buy
and look, and that's great. And the Phillies are the Phillies are
do
a
a
great
lot for the
organization,
fans.
and so I'm not surprised that they did that for you, Kevin. And I appreciate the call. I'm just saying for the people that braved the elements last night, or the people that had to leave, that were in the parking lot for 3.5 hours, they should have gotten their money back.
I think it's fair.
Unless you parked at down the street. There's some people that just own the lots and you're paying them. But
That's different.
If you pay for the Citizens Bank Park parking lot, you should get refunded
If
on
the
your way
game
out.
gets rained out, now a buddy of mine
Tristan
saying to
Homan,
me,
right?
But also too,
Oh,
a buddy
okay.
of mine who went to the playoff game a few years ago, whether it was the NLCS.
I remember. Yeah,
and
they
it got rained,
refunded
and they moved.
people.
They had, if you kept your receipt,
Then you could go back.
you could
the
go
next
in
day.
free the next day.
But
If
to
you didn't keep
yesterday's
your
point,
receipt.
if you were at the game if you were at the parking lot for 3.5 hours and you couldn't stay for 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock was your cutoff time. They should have given you money on your way out, even though the game still ended up happening. So we'll get to more of these Bill of Rights. You can text in some answers at 610-632-0975. Also, coming up next, we had Jeff McClain and Adam Schefter on yesterday, and there was some interesting stuff that came out of both of them. McClain about the Assan Reddick situation, and Schefter made us feel like we were greedy. We'll talk about that next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
An ugly night at the.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
Tubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
Tubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great
You say it with such confidence. Well, he'll be available in the playoffs. Yes. You said it. Joel Embiid, we have no such guarantee.
John, they wouldn't have brought him back if they thought that he wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs, right? They wouldn't have brought him back for one game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's not like that was the first time he ran.
I understand what you're saying. What I'm talking about is when he gets out, then they find out how healthy he really is. He may be in serious pain. And I don't imagine it's easy coming back off of a major surgery and what, 9 weeks off. I don't think that's easy.
But you're talking about how it's not easy, but you want him to play tonight.
No, because
you're almost upset that he's listed as questionable.
No, if he isn't playing tonight, what I'm telling you, I'm not mad at him if he's not playing.
I'm not saying that you're mad.
But what I'm saying to you is if he's not playing tonight, I'm not just going to drink the Kool-Aid and go, yeah, he'll be ready for the playoffs.
I'm not asking you to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm just asking people to be excited for a playoff game or a playoff round.
I'm excited to watch it. If I find out Joel Embiid's not playing at 5:30, I'm sorry if my excitement level's not going to be there.
If he doesn't.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
Tubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday.
Salciunas on this Thursday morning. We welcome you in. We've been talking a lot about the Sixers game for tonight, a big one against the Miami Heat. We've also been having a fun conversation about the Fan Bill of Rights. What rights should fans have? And this stems off of last night when the game gets moved from 1 to 4, from 4 to 8. And there were people, John got an email from somebody that had to leave.
At 7:15, they left because they had, by the way, good luck in their big sales meeting today.
No, yeah, so you got to get home
like,
for that.
And he was taking the office.
Yeah,
and because
trying to get a feel-good day before the big meeting.
Right, exactly.
That's horrible.
That is not good.
So far, the ones that we have written down, the refunds of parking, maybe a free hot dog if you sat through that game yesterday, the jersey refunds I like. I like the one from Matt earlier, the load management insurance. You buy a ticket specifically to see a guy coming to town, and you select it. Like you say, I'm going to the Lakers game because I want to see LeBron play. I'm not going to the Lakers game to watch the fifth guy on the bench play. I'm going for LeBron James. And if LeBron doesn't play and it comes out early enough, you get the tickets refunded, or maybe you get credit for something else.
Because it's the NBA has the least regard for their fan base. And NBA is absolutely disregards their fan base.
I'll agree with you there, but I'll also say the NFL doesn't necessarily care when they can just move a game whenever they want.
No, I got you. But what does the NFL say? Oh, by the way, today you're coming to the game.
No.
Jalen Hurts is not playing load management.
I think it all depends.
Or the Phillies, for that matter, rarely do you see it. They spread their days out.
No, the NBA is the worst when it comes to the players playing or not playing. I'm just saying the NFL, the NFL knows that people travel, right? Like, it's not just Philadelphia. I know that we do it probably best. We do a lot of road games, but let's face it, there's a lot of Cowboys fans that travel as well.
Steeler fans do.
All the time. So every time a game's flexed, you're screwing over everybody that's traveling. And there's a lot of people that travel, especially to some of these stadiums where they don't really have legit home crowds. Like Chargers games, there's not many Chargers fans that go. And if they flex a Chargers game, that means they're flexing thousands of people that are flying out.
I saw where they're projecting now on the average Raiders home game. It is around 19 to 20,000 opposing fans every single game. And that includes the hotel rooms they come in, the airfares, all the dining and drinking
and
they
if
do.
they flex a game like that,
the Raiders are never going to have to worry about a sellout because people always love coming to Vegas.
Right, exactly.
So if they can sell 50, if they can sell 50,000 season ticket base, they can sell the other 20 grand.
And if the Raiders are a fun team and let's say they have a good start, they'll start flexing games, and that's going to screw over the fans that are going. So
another night in Vegas, that would suck.
Oh yeah, that would suck. Connor, do we have any more on the text line, the Fan Bill of Rights?
Yeah, Ray from Center Valley checks in, says when a star player in the NBA doesn't play, instead of sitting on the bench, he should do a free autograph signing before or after the game.
That's actually a good idea.
I don't hate that. It doesn't cost anybody anything. You're not wasting anyone's time because they're there, but if they're not playing, make up for it. And another,
I like that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
I really like that one. That's a really neat. How about a meet and greet for a limited time?
I'd be rooting for guys not to play. Like, if I had tickets to a LeBron James game against the Process Sixers,
you want a picture with LeBron.
I'd rather have a picture with LeBron than watch him drop 50 on their head.
That's a really interesting idea.
Like that one.
I like that one a lot.
All right,
because it wouldn't cost them anything to do it.
Yeah, we've got another person checking in saying a free ticket Monday through Thursday, any other game, exactly what the Baltimore Orioles did They went through a long rain delay yesterday.
Okay.
They allowed a free ticket for select games Monday through Thursday the rest of the season.
Because you have to have availability.
And I think the Phillies are going to do something like that.
For the people last night?
But I don't know if it was for the people that went or the people that didn't go. Like, the people that went should be awarded even more, if I'm being honest.
I would agree with you there.
They should get
Yes.
they should get a suite.
Yes.
Or they should have been moved to a suite. I know people got to pick their seats yesterday. They should have moved them to a suite.
And it's important. That was one of the weird ones. Is one of the kids' ideas was a stadium move-up policy. If you buy a seat in the upper deck, you can move up into better seats after a certain predetermined time.
I agree.
Why have an empty lower bowl? You can create a lot of goodwill for your franchise.
I remember I used to do that as a kid. We would move on up, and then some of the ushers were cool with it, and then some were like, no, you sit where your seats are. I'm like, dude, there's nobody here.
Now, they closed off the upper deck last night. You could only sit low.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad they did that.
Good job, Haley.
Okay, so yesterday we had some interesting conversation with our guests, with Jeff McLean and with Adam Schefter. First, let's start with McLean, because there was something that was talked about with Assan Reddick that we just want to, we want to provide the full context.
Absolutely.
So here's Jeff McLean, the first thing, talking about how maybe Fletcher Cox, when he was talking about certain players in the locker room not buying into the defensive scheme, he talked about Reddick.
He kind of struggled down the stretch, and I think there's concerns about him in terms of like whether he's chasing sacks. And to answer your question about chasing sacks, and yeah, I think certainly, I don't know if that was specifically what Fletcher Cox was referencing, but I'd heard, from people in the organization that, Hassan was one of the guys that they thought was doing that.
Now,
and I by the way, believe that 100%.
Now, a lot of people don't know what that means. Like
you're freelancing.
Right. Like, I saw that we put out that quote, and a lot of people were like, well, what else does an edge rusher do?
That's not true.
Well, sometimes you're supposed to set the edge, or sometimes you're supposed to not just, always go off the edge. Sometimes you loop around in between the tackles.
Absolutely.
Like, there are different ways. Edge rushers don't always pin their ears back and go after the quarterback.
I saw those responses, and I rolled my eyes.
Yeah.
What is he supposed to do? He's supposed to go after the quarterback. There's a plan of how he's supposed to get after the quarterback.
Right.
And when you freelance and do your own thing, that also screws up the other 10 guys on the defense.
Right.
Because you're not doing the job you're there to do. And I believe that. I'm telling you, I think it fell apart because of conflicts in the locker room amongst the team. And I do believe that Fletcher Cox was referencing.
So to that point, a lot of people took that and ran with it, and they were like, "Oh my God, what else is he supposed to do?"
Like the not real person, Dove Kleinman.
Yeah,
which isn't a real person.
The JPA footballs, ML footballs, all those guys. McLean then did say this about not really blaming Assan Reddick.
I think you can look at this both ways. Would he have felt that in a certain, under those circumstances, he had to get a higher number of sacks because he's going to have to get paid in the offseason? Maybe if you had given him a little bit of some sweeteners in his deal like they did for Brandon Graham in 2015, I believe, maybe he would have performed a little more. So I can see it both ways. Fletcher, I don't know if it specifically is him. Fletcher was a guy at one point in his career, I think people felt the same thing as well. So it happens. You understand why guys are doing that because sacks are so important to how they get paid.
Jeff's very kind. But to me, okay, so we gave you a 3-year contract, which you signed. You wanted it renegotiated after 1. You came back in the second year and were kind enough to play under your contract. But it's like, but if we paid you some more money, you may have done what we asked you to do.
Right.
That is total crap.
No,
I mean, to me, that's really bad. That if we had paid you more money, maybe he would have followed what they were asking him to do. This isn't trashing a guy either on the way out the door because this is stuff that was written about by people during the course of the year.
During the season, yeah.
That's some of the conflict of are guys doing what they're being asked to do.
Right. But unfortunately, that first clip is what a lot of people were running with.
Absolutely.
And that's not the case. And, oh, by the way, McLean didn't necessarily blame Reddick. Now, last thing from Jeff yesterday, and then we're going to play this Adam Schefter thing.
In fact, he said he understood it.
Yeah, he did. Last thing from McLean. I asked him, all right, well, if all this is being said about Reddick and Josh Sweat, why did they keep one and not the other. Here's his answer.
What they probably looked at with Josh was that his snap number increased this past season. And I don't think they ever envisioned Sweat to be like a 75% type guy. So I think what's going to happen with him is he's probably, he may still start, but he's not going to be playing 75% of the snaps. I think they think he's more effective when he's kind of and I think Howie Roseman alluded to this in the offseason when he's been asked about the edge rusher position. He's like, they like these fastballs coming off the edge, meaning that they want a steady rotation of 4 to 5 guys so that they're fresh coming off. And I think last year, Assan had played that amount of snaps, but they felt maybe he wore down. And certainly with Josh Sweat, that was the case as well.
They both played too many snaps last year.
Absolutely. And that wasn't to their benefit.
And they decided to keep Sweat over Reddick. Now, to the Eagles' credit, Sweat took a pay cut, which helped minimally, but it helped with the cap. So Sweat takes the pay cut. But they're basically admitting, we're keeping the lesser player. He played more snaps. He did worse. We didn't expect that much out of him anyway.
So they took the guy that, again, I think they felt would be less of a problem.
That might be it.
That he was going to make himself a problem.
Now, last thing from yesterday. We talked about it a little bit as the show continued. I'm not ever going to apologize for being greedy when it comes to my sports teams, right? I want my teams to be good. I want my teams to win.
Right.
I'm a fan of my teams through thick and thin, but I'm more happy when my teams are good, especially when championship windows are there. So I am upset that Assan Reddick got traded because I think a window is there, and I think the window is not fully shut, but it started closing a little bit, right? Here's Adam Schefter almost confused by us wanting more from the Eagles.
There are players you have to extend, number one. You got to account for the draft and the practice squad. How far into the cap are they around? I don't know the number off my head. How far into the cap are they?
I think it's high 20s or low 30s.
Yes.
Again, there are going to be guys that you're going to want to extend. Devonta Smith is going to have to get a deal to pay your draft class, pay the practice squad, keep money for moves. We're going to be talking later this summer, at the end of the summer, before the final cut down. You're going to want them to trade for somebody or do something at that point in time. Again, they have some money, probably not as much as you think right now. And am I expecting another big move? I think on the one hand, they're always looking, but I think if you're looking for that high profile, there are no more of them available. Like that market's kind of shrunk up. Who do you want them to go add right now?
And as the conversation continued, just like it was almost like, man, you guys are greedy.
I'll put it this way. Adam feels much better, and I asked him.
Yes, he does.
I said, you're bullish on it. He's very bullish on what the Eagles have done this offseason. And the other day, I looked at it on Monday afternoon. Geek Boy was, and I tried to go position by position. And you can make the argument that the Eagles roster is better today than it was when they walked off the field in Tampa.
You could.
And I think that it requires a little bit of faith. Like you believe that Devin White isn't a guy who's on terrible decline.
Or you need Bryce Huff to come close to the production of Assan Reddick, which that's why they signed him.
But you can't tell me the defensive end room's better today.
It's not. But
it's flat out not
I agree with you. The roster is better. And also I think coaching goes into that too. Like
and I
we
feel
have
better
more
about
faith in Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, but
I still want more.
You got rid of your best player. Defensively, you got rid of your best player.
He goes, you want more? Like, what do you want more? I mean, yes, I want more.
Like,
yes.
Think about it. Think about any sport. You got rid of your best at something. Best starting pitcher, best reliever, best left-handed bat. They got rid of the best defensive player on their team. And I'm supposed to go into the season that has maybe some championship hopes, feeling confident that they got rid of their best player defensively? Like, no, I don't feel that way right now. So I want more.
Maybe more will come our way.
All right, we want more of your fan bill of rights. And also, there was a major move in football yesterday that we have to talk about and how it helps one team, I think, a lot, and how it might drastically hurt another. It's Kincade and Salciunas. Don't forget, Andrew DeCecco will join us for the entire 8 o'clock hour. Kevin Nagandi will be joining us at 9. So a lot in store for you on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
It's 7 foot from Cameroon.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube? We got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time. Free breakfast. Us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio.
Hey, you on YouTube.
What's up? He was talking to me. What are you yelling at the YouTube audience?
Well, because they're always talking crap about us, so I might as well yell back at them.
But you know what they are? They're very loyal. They're very, very loyal.
Yeah, they're all so sweet.
They are so sweet. And they all listen every single day, and they watch on YouTube, which is a blessing to us.
And we love you, and we thank you for watching us every single morning. And
most days we love them.
Yeah.
Some days we like you.
Yeah, but not all days they love us or even like us.
No, it depends.
So the feeling's mutual. But thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Stay with us.
As good as Tyrese Maxey is, he can't carry an offense. Not from his position. Not when other teams can so easily stop either him, not easily stop him, but if you design to double team him, or if you design to take the ball out of his hands, other guys have to be there. And once again, last night, you just didn't have it. Tobias Harris was the only other double-digit scorer from the starters. Two guys, I think it was Council and somebody else, Wilson off the bench. That got you double figures. So Nick Nurse went to the bench really early. You could see it was just kind of, I'm trying, but you guys just don't have it.
So we're all expecting Howie Roseman to make another move.
But there are players you have to extend, number one. You got to account for the draft and the practice squad. How far into the cap are they? I don't know the number off my head. How far into the cap are they?
I think it's high 20s or low 30s.
Yes.
Left.
Again, there are going to be guys that you're going to want to extend. Devonta Smith is going to have to get a deal to pay your draft class, pay the practice squad, keep money for moves. You know, we're going to be talking later this summer, the end of the summer, before the final cut down. You're going to want them to trade for somebody or do something at that point in time. Again, yeah, they have some money, probably not as much as you think right now. And am I expecting another big move? I think on the one hand they're always looking, but I think if you're looking for that high profile, there are no more of them available. Like that finish shrunk up. Who do you want them to go at right now?
Well, I do not want them to add Justin Simmons. If I'm hearing that they didn't want to pay Assan Reddick, I sure as hell don't want to bring in another guy going in his early 30s and then pay him big money to come in.
Well, and based on what they've done, I don't think they would.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better then.
Yeah, I don't think they would based on the logic.
Kincade and Salciunas coming up for the entire 8 o'clock hour. We'll be joined by Andrew Dzecheko of Inside the Birds, as we will be 3 Thursdays away from the NFL draft. Andrew was great last week, so I can't wait for more of this.
I can't wait for the draft.
Look,
I love the draft,
and it's another big one for the Eagles because you need to start seeing some of these younger players pay out for the guys that have been here for a year or two. You also need another young crop of guys. I mean, you have so much money invested now into your offense and to some of your key players defensively that you need to hit big in one of these drafts.
I'm fascinated to see what the strategy will be.
I have no idea where they're going to go.
Move up moving down, things like that. Just
well, Andrew last week basically said nothing. He thinks it's going to be they have 4 picks in the top. What was it?
It's 4 in the top 120,
and he thinks they'll draft all 4.
And they'll have
maybe not at the same spot, but he thinks there'll be 4 picks.
3 picks in the top 53.
Right.
It's 22, 50, 53.
Yeah, and he thinks we said last week.
That's quality players. You gotta find 2 starters in there.
Right, or
like
eventual starters. Or guys that can fit in, right, if somebody gets hurt.
Or guys that are in, right, like you can play them this year. They got to play. You got to play them.
No, absolutely.
You should find a starter in the first round. You should be.
Yes.
Find a starter. If you draft a corner in the first round, I better not be seeing James Bradbury. I better see Bradbury as a supplemental player.
Yeah.
Be an expensive supplemental.
Oh, Andrew is just right behind you, so he's already getting ready.
He better get to work.
He's getting ready for his hit at 8 o'clock. By the way, tomorrow, the first Friday of Kincade and Salciunas. It continues, but it's back tomorrow, first Friday. You can watch the show live at our performance studio. We'll be joined by a bunch of special guests. Right now, we have Amy Fadul. For what? She's in 8:30 to 9:30?
That's correct.
Bob Cooney, 9:30 to that 9:45 break.
Right.
And Tim McManus from 8 to 8:20.
It's beautiful.
Great.
And still
Always
hopefully
fun.
more to come. And you'll have some food treated to you by the delicious Nifty 50s. 8 area locations. Find one near you at nifty50s.com. And, of course, you can enter for a chance to win 2 seats at 97.5thefanatic.com.
The vanilla milkshake for breakfast.
I'll do that.
See, you would be a vanilla milkshake guy.
Yes.
They have a billion great flavors. You're going just vanilla?
No, what you do not want. First of all, you do not want me having a milkshake for breakfast.
Okay,
I'm just warning you. I'm just warning you.
I got you.
Second of all, the more basic, the better. I'm not an ice cream guy, so I don't
right.
Milkshake is all right. Nifty 50s milkshakes are spectacular.
And you'll be able to get some if you come to our first Friday tomorrow. Our first Friday tomorrow, right here on Kincade and Salciunas.
And it's not Lent.
No, it's not.
You can eat whatever you want tomorrow.
You're right. All right, let's go back to the phones. The fan Bill of Rights is what we've been talking about, stemming from last night's debacle. Phillies game getting moved from 1 to 8 o'clock. What Bill of Rights should we have as fans? Also, Joel Embiid and the Sixers back in action tonight. Is tonight finally a game for you to set the reminder on your phone? Oh, man. Sixers have a big potential playoff preview tonight. I'm all in, man. 7:30 tip-off right here on the Fanatic. Let's go to Mitch in Phoenix. Hello, Mitch.
How you doing, buddy? You're doing a great job. You have blossomed. You are doing a tremendous job over there.
All right, where's the butt?
There's no butt. He didn't say butt.
That's really not, Mitch. That's the nicest thing I've ever heard you say. Thank you. Seriously, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I talk from the heart or the brain. I just don't put it out there if it doesn't have any meaning.
Right.
No, you're doing a tremendous job.
Thanks.
Very
Mitch.
kind.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I know you're going to talk about the Stephon Diggs trade.
Yep.
You think the Reddick trade is a bad trade? How about the one that Buffalo did?
Dude, I mean, Houston's going to be nasty offensively.
Does the return on the investment that they got, does it not show you what his value was around the league, though?
Yeah.
They know what kind of a guy he is in a clubhouse, and it's not good.
Well, they got a first-round pick for him.
Yeah, I mean,
They got a first-round pick for him.
Yeah, you're trading a guy, though, that is Houston wants him. Buffalo didn't want him anymore. They wanted him out.
Yeah, and they got a first-round pick. Usually, if a guy's so bad, it wouldn't be a first-round. They actually got three picks out of it?
6th and a 5th. I think it was a 6th
and a first-round pick for Stephon Diggs, who now makes Houston's offense, which was already good, much more stellar.
You said first round. When does that first round happen? What year?
I think it's for this upcoming year. I'll pull it up. What do you got? What do you got on Embiid for tonight, Mitch?
I don't like the idea when you have major players on a team, and the day of the game, and tonight is a big game for the Sixers. You don't know who's starting yet. This questionable on the injury report just doesn't fly.
Well,
with me.
we're 12 hours away.
Yeah,
and he's always questionable.
Well, yeah, I know that a lot, but you also have Maxey as questionable.
Yeah. It's where people, I think,
he's coming off the injury.
I think what Mitch is trying to get at is the idea. It was the second-round pick.
Second-round pick. Sorry, thank you.
Is the excitement level that you're asking people to have, I think, is very much dependent on what his status is, and more importantly, when you go back and watch him, he's almost grimacing after that game.
Okay.
And you wonder how much soreness is there, and I'm not blaming him.
Right.
I would imagine coming back off of that, I don't know. I didn't expect him to be coming back
30
and playing.
minutes. And it made
Never.
a major impact. I just Mitch has complained that the starting lineup, first off, the starting lineup doesn't come out until, 30 minutes, 45 minutes before the game starts? So that's not for another 11 hours? Yeah, it's not even 8 o'clock in the morning.
Bills took a $31 million dead salary cap hit. Got a second-round pick for him and a sixth-round pick and a fifth-round pick.
He's a hell of a talent, though. And now he goes to a team.
They wanted him out of that locker room.
Okay. And he also goes to a team in Houston where they still have their quarterback on a rookie deal.
Oh, yes.
So they can afford bringing Stephon Diggs. And that offense, which was very good last year with Nico Collins and Tank Dell, you get Stephon Diggs out there? Scary offense. And a good coach.
It is.
And a young, rising defense. It was a good trade for Houston.
Yeah, it is good if he's a good citizen. He goes there and he does his job. He literally was reportedly tearing apart that Buffalo locker room.
Yeah,
and that's a team that had a chance to win a Super Bowl. They were in the AFC title game.
Let's see
and they were going, no, we're good.
Let's see how good Josh Allen is without him. He also lost Gabe Davis, so let's see how good Josh Allen is.
They're not doing him any favors
without great talent around him.
They're not doing him any favors.
No, he's a great quarterback, but let's see how good he can be without great talent. Let's quickly get to Edith and Go ahead.
You would take Josh over Jalen Hurts, right?
Probably.
I would.
Probably.
And I think a lot of Jalen Hurts. I'd take Josh Allen.
Yeah, he's got
Josh Allen just leaves me
arm talent.
He leaves me scratching my head sometimes with his decision making.
Yeah, of course.
As does Jalen last year, not the year before.
Coming our way next, Andrew DeCecco. From inside the Birds, look at him. He's ready to go. He had his head down before I started. His head just perked up, but he had his head down. He's ready to go.
He should have been head down getting work done.
He's in the zone. He joins us for the entire 8 o'clock hour. We are 3 Thursdays away from the NFL draft. Has Andrew's thoughts on anything changed from what we talked about last week? The Assan Reddick trade is finalized. What do they do with the draft now that Assan Reddick is gone? Or are we going into a season where it's Nolan Smith and Bryce Huff? And Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham. What do the Eagles do? Do they go after corner in the first round? DeCecco was very high on corner last week in the first round, so we'll find out. I mean, I can't wait, man. We get to geek out about the NFL draft for an entire hour. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, you on YouTube. What's up?
Once again last night, you just didn't have it. Tobias Harris was the only other double-digit scorer from the starters. Two guys, I think it was Council and somebody else, Wilson, off the bench. That got you double figures. So Nick Nurse went to the bench really early. You could see it was just kind of, I'm trying, but you guys just don't have it.
So we're all expecting Howie Roseman to make another move.
But there are players you have to extend, number one. You got to account for the draft and the practice squad. How far into the cap are they? I don't know the number off my head. How far into the cap are they?
I think it's high 20s or low 30s.
Yes.
Left.
Again, there are going to be guys that you're going to want to extend. Devonta Smith is going to get a deal to pay your draft class, pay the practice squad, keep money for moves. We're going to be talking later this summer, the end of the summer, before the final cut down. You're going to want them to trade for somebody or do something at that point in time. They have some money, probably not as much as you think right now. And am I expecting another big move? I think on the one hand, they're always looking. But I think if you're looking for that high profile, there are no more of them available. Like that market's kind of shrunk up. Who do you want them to go add right now?
Well, I do not want them to add Justin Simmons. If I'm hearing that they didn't want to pay Assan Reddick, I sure as hell don't want to bring in another guy going in his early 30s and then pay him big money to come in.
Well, and based on what they've done, I don't think they would.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better then.
Yeah, I don't think they would, based on the logic with Assan Reddick. If Justin Simmons came in at a number of price, would they do that? Maybe. Yeah. Like, I'm making this up. What if it's a 1-year deal worth, I don't know, some friendly number?
I'd do that? Oh, I absolutely would consider it. But the thing is, I wonder was a 1-year offer at a nice number considered to extend Assan Reddick? Every deal I'm going to look at and say, could that deal have been done to keep Assan Reddick here?
But Reddick wanted a new deal. He wanted a new deal last season.
Yes.
Right?
He did. You let the other guy wet his pants because Sam Emerson let in 2 terrible
And you
goals.
go wet his pants. We were literally just talking about how he should have not played. No, they were terrible.
No, they were terrible. That is wetting your pants. As a goaltender, he let in 2 goals that the average NHL goaltender does not let in. Those 2 goals were terrible.
They were horrible.
They were.
The guys were playing pretty much all season long out of necessity.
And I said that. There's a lot of it.
Okay, he's been a big reason. They lost their goaltender.
Andrew, all that praise. I praised him all year long. But the bottom line is the coach knew the backup goalie was ready to play. And he didn't play him.
What is it that Haley wants us to do?
I don't know. The show's about to start again.
Wait, is that Connor yelling for us to get back on?
Guys, you know you got to come back from break.
So just zip it.
All right.
Let's go.
See you guys. Hey, you on YouTube. What's up?
He was talking to me. What are you yelling at the YouTube audience?
Well, because they're always talking crap about us, so I might as well yell back at them.
But you know what they are? They're very loyal. They're very, very loyal.
Yeah, they're all so sweet.
They are so sweet. And they all listen every single day and they watch on YouTube, which is a blessing to us.
And we love you and we thank you for watching us every single morning. And
most days we love them.
Yeah.
Some days we like you.
Yeah, but not all days they love us or even like us.
No, it depends.
So the feeling's mutual. But thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Stay with us.
As good as Tyrese Maxey is, he can't carry an offense. Not from his position. Not when other teams can so easily stop either him, not easily stop him, but if you design to double team him, or if you design to take the ball out of his hands, other guys have to be there. And once again, last night, you just didn't have it. Tobias Harris was the only other double-digit scorer from the starters. 2 guys, I think it was Council and somebody else, Wilson, off the bench. That got you double figures. So Nick Nurse went to the bench really early. You could see it was just kind of, I'm trying, but you guys just don't have it.
So we're all expecting Howie Roseman to make another move.
But there are players you have to
Kincade Salciunas, happy Thursday morning. Happy 3 Thursdays until the NFL draft. So that's why we turn to our man. He did a great job with us for the hour last week. He joins us for the entire 8 o'clock hour this week from Inside the Birds, Andrew DeCecco. What's up, Andrew? What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? Good to be with you. I'm doing well.
It's great to have you in, and I want to get this out of the way now for anybody who has any questions, because as we had Andrew on last week, you know, midway through, we opened up the phone lines and people were able to call in and ask Andrew a question. So you can call in at 610-632-0975 if you have a draft, anything. It's not just draft talk, even though we're going to be doing a lot of that today because we're 3 weeks from it. But any sort of Eagles question that you have for Andrew DeCecco, feel free to call in at 610-632-0975, or you can text in your questions. Connor will sift through them, and we'll throw some questions at him. Or, of course, you can tweet in the show as well. First thing, how was last night? You guys had the special show, you and Bill Colarulo.
Yeah, it went great. It was, we just scratched the surface. I was just telling John when we were on break, there's so much to get into, and it went really well. I mean, the hour flew by.
Oh, yeah, dude, and especially when you're talking draft, when you're talking free agency, when you're talking reaction to Assan Reddick trade, it flies by. Trust me, and this hour is going to fly by for us because we have you. So let's get to the Assan Reddick thing. Your thoughts on the trade, on the return, on the loss of him productivity-wise for the Eagles, and then what they kind of hope they can get out of some of the players that are here now?
Yeah, Andrew, for a team that has a Super Bowl window that's still cracked open.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little, I mean, you knew it was coming, but it was something that I thought that it was going to yield a more favorable return. All that being said, Howie Roseman is not averse to trading for future picks. I mean, the second-round pick this year, pick number 50, was from the Saints back in 2022. So he's a very forward-thinking guy. I think that there's a chance that could become a second. I'm not worried about the sack total.
Right.
He's going to get double-digit sacks by all accounts, but you worry about the snap share if he's going to be on the field that much.
Yes.
But, yeah, they just opted not to pay an older player here, and Assan Reddick obviously wanted to be paid the going rate for a premier pass rusher in this league, which is $22 to $25 million. That just wasn't going to happen. Look at Landon Dickerson that they just paid. They just there's free agents that they paid like Bryce Huff. It just wasn't in the cards for Assan Reddick to come back. And you also have to wonder what his fit would be in Vic Fangio's defense, right? I mean, that's going to require a lot of defensive ends dropping back in coverage a little bit more than even last season. So with all that being said, I just didn't think that it was.
So when it comes to roster construction, I know this is why the GMs get paid the big bucks, right? They know that he's their best pass rusher, at least on paper. We'll see it next year when he's another year older and Bryce Huff maybe another year better. We'll see how it plays out. But you just said they didn't want to pay the 30-year-old. To me, I also go they didn't want to pay their best player on defense. I mean, that's kind of concerning to me.
Yeah, their best player on defense last season for the entirety of the season was Fletcher Cox, but their most impactful player, who's now gone, but their most impactful player, you're right, is Assan Reddick. But like everyone on that defense last season, there's a clear regression when Matt Patricia took over. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it is a little bit curious, but they do believe in who they have there. And Howie Roseman, if we're to take what he said at face value at the NFL Combine, Andrew, he said that he's going to be playing the younger players, and they're going to be more apt to play younger players. So we're going to see if that's going to come to fruition here. But Nolan Smith, you're up.
Expound a little bit on what you said about Vic Fangio and the potential fit where maybe Assan Reddick wasn't a great fit for Vic Fangio's defense. Maybe that was part of it. When we look forward to this draft, give me just generic things that say Vic Fangio's defense that maybe could eliminate or bring some players to the front of the line of what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think you want an explosive athlete, someone who's decent in space and can sort of navigate sideline to sideline. That's not their role, but you want to be a fluid mover. And Assan Reddick, you remember back in the early days, John, when he was with the Arizona Cardinals, they didn't know what to do with him, and he looked sort of lost in the middle, sort of navigating through traffic and things like that. When he's really equipped to pin his ears back and go get the passer. So I think right now, in looking at it in terms of the NFL draft or what Vic Fangio is going to be looking for from his pass rushers, you want some more explosive, fluid athletes that might be a little bit better in space.
All right, so we're going to dive deeper into the draft as this hour continues, but it's 8:05. Time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
What do we got, Connor?
So we're keeping it a little bit shorter today because we have Andrew in studio, but there's some interesting Eagles-adjacent news. Jason Kelce and WrestleMania have been linked together.
Oh, jeez.
Now, are you guys wrestling fans at all?
No. But why do you say, geez?
All three. Because
don't say you're tired of Jason Kelce.
Are you serious?
I'm not watching WrestleMania, so I'm just not.
I'm not either. But
so I'm saying is that
I'm glad that Jason Kelce is living what I could see as maybe his best life post career. It's early on. He did the diving through the tables, Bill's Mafia, right? Because he knew he was retiring at that point, probably. And now he's doing WrestleMania. That's cool. That's awesome. You're so anti. You're anti-happiness.
It's just
you want him to go into a hole and be miserable that he's no longer playing.
No, it's just there's a saturation point with stories, and this is one of them. This is a saturation
already.
Point. Already, WrestleMania is yes. With him in WrestleMania, yes. I'm not interested.
Nah,
it's not. It's no.
I think it's awesome, and I don't like wrestling.
You tell me, Jason Kelce's joining Monday Night Football. That's a story I'm interested in. Jason Kelce going to WrestleMania and doing whatever it is. I don't care. I don't
but dude,
care.
him going to Monday Night Football, that's like, of course.
No, that's
normal.
something that interests me because it's actually something.
This is different.
That's something I'm interested in.
Give me all the Jason Kelsey content that you can. I'm all for it.
Jason Kelsey's having breakfast this morning in Havertime.
I might go join him.
Oh, perfect. You walk in, he'll power bomb you. You'll walk out. He's practicing for WrestleMania. Okay, we got one more for you. This is more for Andrew DeCecco. Andrew coming in.
All right.
I want you to hear how the guys started the show if you didn't catch it and one of the conversations they were having because I think you might have an interesting thought or two on this.
You want to come up with the Fan Bill of Rights.
After yesterday.
Can you explain?
After yesterday, and this is Major League Baseball, make this clear. The Phillies are part of an entity where the rules are made. That is ridiculous. That the night before a game, so less than 24 hours before a game, you change the game time. I don't think that's fair. Then people get there at 4, knowing right well that game wasn't starting at 4. And to me, I think the fans who were there at 4 o'clock, that's unacceptable.
So you want to come up with a Fan Bill of Rights. You want to come up with our rights, damn it. So let's come up with some.
I think fans need some.
We've had callers, texters, the guys weigh in on that. Do you have anything that you would add to a Fan Bill of Rights to protect the fan
Here's some
base?
examples, just so that you know where we're coming from. For the people that went to the game last night, the Phillies game that was supposed to be at 1, then 4, didn't start till 8. John, there was a group of sales guys that they were going together, as like a group gathering
Before their big
thing.
meeting
They had a
today.
big meeting today. They had to leave at 7:15. They got to the parking lot at 3-something. Waited 4 hours and said, we can't stay here anymore. They should be refunded parking or anything.
I think everyone who attended should be reimbursed for their parking.
Right.
That's the least they could do.
We talked about a player that gets traded 6 months after you buy their jersey as long as you saw the receipt, or if something terrible happened like Hernandez, with the Patriots. Aaron Hernandez, maybe you should get a new jersey for that one. Load management insurance for somebody who buys a ticket to see LeBron come to town if he doesn't play. You should have some sort of maybe credit for a game down the road because it's not their fault. Or teams that do the load management, if LeBron doesn't play, he has to do a 30-minute meet and greet with fans from the city that he came to. Those are some examples.
I think that's a great
That was a great
idea.
one.
What was it, Connor? Was that yours or was from
That was a text line, yeah.
Okay, because I think that is a really great one.
Yes, I agree.
The idea
and I think that would apply to a number of sports. I think that would be applicable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what would be one for you? And then we'll get back to this Eagles talk.
Well, I guess in looking in terms of the Phillies game last night, I think the least they could do is give them a free hot dog, a meal voucher, or something like that for kind of gutting it out for an extended period of time.
And a lot of the food places were closed.
Yeah, the food places a lot of them were closed.
Oh, geez.
So if there's only a few open, get the guy a hot dog. That's been sitting in the horrible weather, by the way, and watched a terrible game because the Phillies horrible.
I mean, really, what is that going to cost them?
Nothing. They already got the tickets, right? I'm sure.
And the Phillies are one of the fan-friendliest organizations out there.
I'm sure the paid attendance for yesterday's game was probably in the upper 20, low 30,000s.
I would imagine it was.
So a couple hot dogs to give out to the people that actually went, the 10 people that went to the game. I think you're on to something there. No hot dog. Thank you, Mrs. Cho. All right, from downstairs.
That's what Keith Pompey said, too, when he was asked. They said, Keith, should the Phillies be giving out free hot dogs?
All right, so we're joined by Andrew DeCecco for the rest of this hour, and we're going to get into the draft heavy, probably more in the second segment. But I have a question for you. So we had Adam Schefter on yesterday, and we were talking about the offseason. We reacted to the Assan Reddick trade with him, and then we kind of asked the question of what's next, right? Because you mentioned there is still a championship window open. How open is it? We'll find out. I think trading away Assan Reddick takes a hit for your championship chances. So we asked Adam, all right, well, what's next? And his tone toward us was almost like, what more do you guys want? Are we greedy right now? Should we be more greedy, or is this team okay right now?
No, I don't know that everyone's greedy and anticipating something else to happen, because let's not forget, free agency just doesn't end at the end of March, doesn't end after the draft or shortly after. Howie Roseman's proven that he's going to be resourceful and continue to work the phones and continue to get creative in how he's going to construct the roster throughout the summer. And look at Ronald Darby, acquired in August.
Yeah.
Look at C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the first go-around, acquired in August, just before the season. So
Patrick Robinson, who had one of the biggest plays in Eagles franchise history.
LeGarrette Blount in May of that offseason. So, to your point, Andrew, I think that there's still a long ways to go. This is far from a finished product of a roster, obviously, goes without saying, but I think there's still moves to be made, and I would expect to see something here some moves made down the line.
I was made to feel like we were greedy, John.
No, he was making us feel a little greedy on that one. And it is the idea, though, I think it's $31 million or $32 million in salary cap space does baffle me a little bit because I'm wondering what the next move is. And I'm honestly shocked that they won't go, that this won't get escalated quickly to get Devontae Smith signed.
You would think that it would, but it also takes, on Devontae's side, you're going to see the price for the going rate for wide receivers. Look at Justin Jefferson and players of that mold, Jalen Waddle. It's going to skyrocket here in the summer. So Devontae could be wanting to hang back and see what the cost of the going rate is and get paid even more and reset the market. So, yeah, if you're the Eagles, you want to get it done maybe quickly, but maybe Devontae might not be in such a rush. They do have a little bit of time here to work with it.
And is he willing to be paid as a 2?
Well, there's a question as well, but
because I don't think he's a 2. I think he's a 1A.
So do I.
I think he's a 1 on. Is it fair to say 15 teams? He's their 1?
20.
Okay, so even go higher.
He's a phenomenal talent that would be, like you said, he would be doing a lot more if he wasn't in an offense that also had A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert and the like.
So do you think, and this isn't you got to pick one, A.J. or Devontae, when it's time to do that, is A.J. Brown still here? Would they be able to afford, would Howie Roseman be able to make it work, A, for both A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to get paid a lot of money, and B, we talk about their philosophy all the time. Is that something that you think he would do?
Yes, because both players have proven that they can be transformative, and the Eagles prioritize the passing game. Those are 2 premier players. They're going to help your quarterback long-term, who you just invested heavily in. I think that if anything, Andrew, they're going to find a way to make it work with both players and keep them in-house.
That's great. I like that.
That makes me happy. Let me hear that. I look at the we did a little discussion before. I think you can objectively say, come up with the argument and say the Eagles roster is better today than it was when they walked off the field in Tampa. But you also have to assume some things like Devin White's not going to be the bust that many feel he's declining towards. What do you feel about a signing of a guy like a Devin White? And what do you feel about the roster today before we get more work, before we get more signings? Are they sitting in a better position?
Yes, because they're better at safety. They're better at linebacker. It's debatable whether or not I think they're kind of neutral at pass rusher, but there's still moves that need to be made offensively. I think they need a right guard, you need another tight end, another third receiver. There's still work to be done, but I think that it's debatable, at least on the defensive side. They definitely got better there. But to your point, John, about Devin White, that's an interesting signing because the free agent market was really dry. So when it's like that, you have to assess and say, where can I get the best value? And the upside signing there was Devin White. You got him for a very team-friendly deal. Yes, he's immensely athletic. He was the 5th overall pick a few seasons ago. And I think that he's a freelancer, which that's not gonna bode well for Vic Fangio.
Well, Fletcher Cox isn't here anymore, so you won't complain about it.
But if I think that, if anything, maybe you can harness that and you could channel that and get him to play within the confines of his defense, and you might have something there. And maybe it won't be more than just a 1-year stopgap.
All right, so coming up in the next segment, I hope you have them in front of you. Your targets for those first 3 picks. We talked about it last week. We asked you, do you think that they draft 3 players? And it looked like you were saying yes, but this changes every single week. So your 3 targets for those first 3 picks for the Eagles. We'll get to that. But we have a couple of questions on the text line, Connor, coming in for Andrew.
We absolutely do. A lot of people want to ask some questions about the draft and some targets as well. Scott from Florida checks in and asks, is there a tight end that the Eagles have their eye on in this draft to solidify the tight end 2 spot going into this season? And if so, who?
Great question. And I do believe the Eagles are going to take a tight end a little bit higher than some folks may be anticipating, just given their forward thinking. Ben Sinnott from Kansas State, to me, would be a player in the 2nd round that would make a lot of sense given where they slot at 50 and 53, respectively. And I would also say Jatavian Sanders, the tight end from Texas, who I mocked to the Eagles in my mock draft, my most recent mock draft on InsideTheBirds.com.
Okay, so we got a couple
so
of
you're saying earlier than expected, too? Like maybe some people. What would be if they drafted with one of the 2 2nd-round picks a tight end? You're not shocked?
No, I wouldn't be. I mean, I mocked it in anticipation of it. Just knowing that Goddard will be 30 years old.
And we talked about last week. This is the same time. Well, what? This is actually a year later, or he's a year older than what Ertz was when they drafted Goddard, and they did the same thing with Ertz and Selleck, right? said this,
it's been a good strategy.
It's been a great strategy. I said this to you guys last week. It's the Phillies' strategy with catchers. Like the Phillies have been great with catcher. The Eagles have been great with tight end. All right, what else do we have on the text line, Connor?
We also have a check-in from Tasty Cake Dom on the text line. And he says he understands what you guys are saying about Reddick not necessarily fitting into this defense and the reasons why they would have looked to move on from him. But he brings up, going from 2 years ago to this past season, isn't the drop-off in sack production a huge thing to point to when it comes to the team's lack of success? And how does getting rid of Assan Reddick help with that?
Yes, it is something to look at, but I would also say that when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they weren't the sacks weren't mounting. They weren't like a prolific sack unit. But I would say
in 17,
in 17. So I mean, it's something to certainly to look at, but I don't know that.
I think the question is, was the fall off of production age related? Do you think it was the switch to Matt Patricia? Like, why was there the drastic fall off, or could it maybe not even age related, just the fact that he played so many snaps? Like, what was the genesis of the fall off? Do you think?
I think it's more so just accruing as many snaps as he did. He wore down, but everybody on that defense wore down.
Right.
I don't know that he's hit a wall in terms of age. I just think that sort of you see a lot of mileage on an older player, and they're betting on some of their younger guys to get the job done.
Okay, let me ask you this. Now they get rid of Assan Reddick and people are up in arms and everything like that. They were the 30th ranked defense in the NFL. Honestly, I could do that without Assan Reddick. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I can be the 30th ranked defense in the NFL without Assan Reddick. It wasn't helping them win games. Right. And their defense was I understand
but
them.
2 years ago, they were a higher ranked defense with Assan Reddick, but 12th, also more talent around him, right?
Sure.
So I don't know if Reddick was the reason why.
No, I'm not saying
30th.
he was, but I'm saying is when you're 30th, you think about doing anything.
You got to make some changes.
Move it around.
Yeah.
And why do you want to overpay on a defense that was that bad?
Sure, you kind of have to reconstruct it and kind of build it with some young players and kind of get that headed in the right direction.
All right, so we're going to get to some more draft questions coming your way next. Again, I want to hear who you're targeting for those first 3 picks with the Eagles. And you don't have to give us one name for each one. Just anybody that you see with that first-round pick and the 2 second-round picks they have.
He's got them.
Right off the top of his head.
I think he had them in December.
Which is just absolutely amazing. By the way, so I want to tell you guys about something really cool that we have going on. And, John, it was your idea, and it was a tremendous idea. The Avelo Airlines competition that we have going on. I'm sure Andrew would want to be nominated for this. If you go to the contest page, 975thefanatic.com, you can nominate someone who you think deserves to win 2 round-trip flights. So them and a guest on Avelo Airlines. Could be a teacher, could be a local firefighter, police officer, your neighbor who took out the trash for you, anybody.
It could be anybody. I would nominate my oncologist.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's people, I'm here today because of this.
So you cannot nominate yourself, but you can nominate somebody that might be able to bring you. Just go to 975thefanatic.com for that. The contest page. It's all sponsored by Avelo Airlines and Wilmington Airport, Delaware's favorite airport. Is close to home and has convenient parking, shorter lines, and an easy, relaxed atmosphere. To fly Avelo out of Wilmington Airport, visit AveloAir.com. And coming up next, you'll hear a little bit more about Avelo Airlines. But also,
we like them.
Andrew DiCecco's targets with those first 3 picks in the upcoming NFL draft. That is 3 Thursdays from now. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
You on YouTube.
What's up? He was talking to me. What are you yelling at the YouTube audience?
Well, because they're always talking crap about us, so I might as well yell back at them.
But you know what they are? They're very loyal. They're very, very loyal.
They're all so sweet.
They are so sweet. And they all listen every single day, and they watch on YouTube, which is a blessing to us.
And we love you, and we thank you for watching us every single morning. And
most days we love them.
Yeah.
Some days we like you.
Yeah, but not all days they love us or even like us.
No, it depends.
So the feeling's mutual. But thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Stay with us.
as good as Tyrese Maxey is, he can't carry an offense. Not from his position. Not when other teams can so easily stop either him, not easily stop him, but if you design to double team him, or if you design to take the ball out of his hands, other guys have to be there. And once again, last night, you just didn't have it. Tobias Harris was the only other double-digit scorer from the starters. Two guys, I think it was Council and somebody else, Wilson, off the bench. That got you double figures. So Nick Nurse went to the bench really early. You could see it was just kind of, I'm trying, but you guys just don't have it.
So we're all expecting Howie Roseman to make another move.
But there are players you have to extend, number one. You got to account for the draft and the practice squad. How far into the cap are they? I don't know the number off my head. How far into the cap are they?
I think it's high 20s or low 30s.
Yes.
Left.
Again, there are going to be guys that you're going to want to extend. Devonta Smith is going to have to get a deal to pay your draft class, pay the practice squad, keep money for moves. You know, we're going to be talking later this summer, the end of the summer, before the final cut down. You're going to want them to trade for somebody or do something at that point in time. Again, yeah, they have some money, probably not as much as you think right now. And am I expecting another big move? I think on the one hand they're always looking, but I think if you're looking for that high profile, there are no more of them available. Like that market's kind of shrunk up. Who do you want them to go add right now?
Well, I do not want them to add Justin Simmons. If I'm hearing that they didn't want to pay Assan Reddick, I sure as hell don't want to bring in another guy going in his early 30s and then pay him big money to come in.
Well, and based on what they've done, I don't think they would.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better then.
Yeah, I don't think they would, based on the logic with Assan Reddick. You know, if Justin Simmons came in at a number of price, would they do that? Maybe. Yeah. Like, I'm making this up. What if it's a 1-year deal worth, I don't know, some friendly number?
I'd do that. Oh, I absolutely would consider it. But the thing is, I wonder was a 1-year offer at a nice number considered to extend Assan Reddick? Every deal I'm going to look at and say, could that deal have been done to keep Assan Reddick here?
But Reddick wanted a new deal. He wanted a new deal last season.
Yes.
Right?
He did. You let the other guy wet his pants because Sam Emerson let in 2 terrible goals.
And you go wet his pants. We were literally just talking about how he should have not played. No, they were terrible.
No, they were terrible. That is wetting your pants. As a goaltender, he let in 2 goals that the average NHL goaltender does not let in. Those 2 goals were terrible.
They were horrible.
They were.
The guys were playing pretty much all season long out of necessity.
And I said that. There's a lot of it.
Okay, a big reason. They lost their goaltender.
Andrew, all that praise. I praised him all year long. But the bottom line is the coach knew the backup goalie was ready to play. And he didn't play him.
What is it that Haley wants us to do?
I don't know. The show's about to start again.
Wait, is that Connor yelling for us to get back on?
Guys, you know you got to come back from break.
So just zip it.
All
Let's go.
See you guys. Hey, you on YouTube. What's up?
He was talking to me. What are you yelling at the YouTube audience?
Well, because they're always talking crap about us, so I might as well yell back at them.
But you know what they are? They're very loyal. They're very, very loyal.
Yeah, they're all so sweet.
They are so sweet. And they all listen every single day and they watch on YouTube, which is a blessing to us.
And we love you and we thank you for watching us every single morning. And
most days we love them.
Yeah.
Some days we like you.
Yeah, but not all days they love us or even like us.
No, it depends.
So the feeling's mutual. But thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Stay with us.
as good as Tyrese Maxey is, he can't carry an offense. Not from his position. Not when other teams can so easily stop either him, not easily stop him, but if you design to double team him, or if you design to take the ball out of his hands, other guys have to be there. And once again, last night, you just didn't have it. Tobias Harris was the only other double-digit scorer from the starters. Two guys, I think it was Council and somebody else, Wilson, off the bench. That got you double figures. So Nick Nurse went to the bench really early. You could see it was just kind of, I'm trying, but you guys just don't have it.
So we're all expecting Howie Roseman to make another move.
But there are players you have to extend, number one. You got to account for the draft and the practice squad. How far into the cap are they? I don't know the number off my head. How far into the cap are they?
I think it's high 20s or low 30s.
Yes.
Left.
Again, there are going to be guys that you're going to want to extend. Devonta Smith is going to have to get a deal to pay your draft class, pay the practice squad, keep money for moves. You know, we're going to be talking.
We can't wait to take off with you ourselves, but we're thrilled that you're taking off with us in the infancy of Kincade Salciunas. Avello Airlines now flying out of the Wilmington Airport with nonstop flights to over 10 cities, including cities in Florida and San Juan, Puerto Rico. Go to aveloair.com. Your 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Avello.
And we appreciate that. And again,
awesome.
That's why before the break, I let the people know about the contest that we're running. Go to 975thefanatic.com, go to the contest page, and you can nominate somebody that could win a trip to a round trip tickets to anywhere.
Them and a guest. So we're talking about 24 passengers here. So you got 12 different pairs of people are going to win. If you know somebody and you make the case, make it. Make it for them.
So when I said, why don't you nominate somebody that might take you, you kind of laughed at it.
Yeah, I think that would be bad pool. To say, I'm nominating my fiance.
Well, no. What if
I'm nominating my sister?
Let's say you have a close friend that's had a horrible year, or like your best friend, and you go, man, that guy needs a trip, and I'm not going to buy him a trip. I can't. I'll nominate him, but then he goes, hey, we're best friends. Why don't you come with me?
I still think it should be more altruistic than that. But you and I and our panel, we will all have votes.
Right.
On the letters. If someone says to me,
I'm trying to go on a trip. That's all.
If someone says to me, my best friend, I'm wondering, oh, wait a minute here.
Well, unless
you might be working an egg.
Unless stuff actually went down.
Or if you get my wife deserves a trip. That's different.
Well, my wife does deserve a trip. I just won't pay for it.
Your wife does deserve a trip without you, though.
Well,
that's
maybe
what
they're trying to find out if she's taking the milkman or something.
Yeah, exactly. We got to figure this one out.
on the wife. Okay,
yeah, amazing. But
thank you, Avello.
Thank you, Avello, for joining us for the 8 o'clock hour in this incredible contest that we're running on 975thefanatic.com. Head to the contest page. All right, so we'll get to the phones in a second. We got some more texts for Andrew, but your homework assignment. Give us a couple players, 2 or 3, whatever comes to mind. Without your notepad, which is amazing. It's crazy. This is all off the top of his head. 3 picks the Eagles have early on. 1 in the first round, 2 in the second round, and 50 and 53 in the second round, so near each other. Who are the players that you're sort of eyeing on for those 3 picks?
Well, I'll get into them, and then if you want me to elaborate after, we can certainly do that. So I would say at 22, I'm looking at Latu, the edge rusher from UCLA.
I told you I'm anti.
We're anti. I know.
Both of us are anti.
And I know last night I was very heavy corner, and I talk a lot about Nate Wiggins, but I also mentioned another corner who we're going to get to in a moment that I like even more, and that's Max Melton from Rutgers at pick 50. Then at 53, we're going to go tight end, Ben Sinnott, who I mentioned from Kansas State. Like his game quite a bit.
So tell us about Melton. You were just at the Rutgers Pro Day last Thursday. After you did the hit here, you went to the Pro Day. So what stood out to you?
Well, so Eagles defensive backs coach Christian Parker was there, put him through his workout. But Max Melton at the NFL Combine, to back up a second, he ran a 4.39. His broad jump was over 11. He had a 40.5-inch vertical. So he tested through the roof.
Yeah.
So he didn't do a whole lot at Pro Day. He did the 3-cone, and he did the short shuttle, and I believe he benched. Yes, he benched, and then he spoke to us. So, I mean, I was really impressed with him. He's a very fluid mover. The on-field work really stood out to me. He can play inside and outside. I think he's a day 1 nickel corner right off the bat. So, I mean, and his stock is rising. He was a late second rounder when this process started, and he's done nothing but check off boxes throughout the process to now early second, I would say.
Are you a guy who worries more about or puts more stock in the tape or the measurables in the workout? Because I'm always spooked by measurables.
Now, what if I were to tell you that the tape and the workouts they both checked out?
Okay, I like that. I know how much tape you watch, so absolutely I like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. So let me ask you this. So you said Melton or Wiggins as maybe that second round, and then you have the tight end going at 53. If they only had 1 second-round pick, this is more sports radio juncture right here, but if they only had 1 second-round pick, where do you think they would lead?
Max Melton.
Okay.
Max Melton's a player that's very there's a lot of buzz surrounding him right now. Now, if we want to get a little creative here, I have a hard time envisioning the Eagles waiting from pick 53 to all the way to 120. So a lot of folks might be listening wondering, where's the offensive lineman? There's no way that they're going through 2 days of the draft without taking an offensive lineman. And I think that if you were to look at a third-round lineman, Mason McCormick, he's a very versatile athletic guard from South Dakota State. They had T.J. Pagnetti, the assistant offensive line coach, was actually there at their pro day, and he's a player that I like quite a bit.
Well, they slid back 22 spots because you had to have Kenny Pickett. You couldn't have done without Kenny Pickett. So yeah, you gave up 22 spots, and I think 98 to 120 is a huge drop.
It is.
Like to me, that takes you talent-wise into an entirely different shopping aisle.
Linebacker and offensive line, that's prime real estate for to
So
get
would you have done the Pickett trade?
Yes, just knowing that how much the Eagles value the position, and I also know that in all likelihood the Eagles aren't going to go. There's not going to be that big of a gap between the time that they pick at pick 53 and then one again.
Do you think they're going to move back up?
I think so. Just knowing the needs that are there on defense, like they have a lot of holes to fill here, and I think that going into the draft with 8 picks, I think there'll be more. There'll be more than that.
Do they end up trading for a potential starter defensively?
So the position that I would look for if they were to do that would be corner. Just given we talked about the Super Bowl window, it's tough to expect a first-round rookie, even a first-round rookie, to go in there and play all of a sudden at a high level because there's 2 older corners that you have that are huge question marks. So that I think you could do that at corner, and the Eagles have proven, whether it be A.J. Brown or DeAndre Swift, that they're not averse to doing that.
Right. All right. Connor, we have some texts for Andrew on the text line, 610-632-0975.
We have a question, and then we have some commentary that I think will be interesting.
Okay.
But first, let's start with this one. What does Andrew think of the Penn State players in this draft, specifically Theo Johnson? That comes from Jay in West Philly.
Hey, what's up, Jay? Good question, man. So Theo Johnson, that's actually a player that I haven't gotten a ton of questions on. I like him. He's athletic. Now, I view him more as a day 3 option, and I think the Eagles really need to grab a successor to Dallas Goedert, have him learn for a year. And Theo Johnson, to me, reminds me more of a tight end, too, a developmental type of player. But I do like him. I just don't think that the Eagles are the right team to take that on. But, yeah, I mean, as far as Chop Robinson, talk about Penn State players, I reported that he had a 30 visit to Philly in March. Now, he's a projection. He only had 11.5 sacks in college, started his career at Maryland, went to Penn State. But this is a 4.4 guy, immensely athletic, very raw. If they're
Measurables.
So if they're able to kind of bring him in, let's say, I mean, this is all hypothetically, bring him in, and he would be in a rotation where he can sort of develop and refine some of those skill sets. He has good hand usage, but you always see it in spurts. You want to see more consistency there.
What round? Because his name gets talked about a lot.
Round 1,
right?
Yeah.
Even though it's more measurables than actual production.
Yeah, he'll just because of his enticing traits that he has, those will get you drafted on day 1.
Back end.
Yes.
Back end.
Okay. And what was the comment?
So this is on Assan Reddick, and this person checks in on the earlier conversation, says, I think this Assan Reddick thing is a little overblown. He was a good player, but let's not act like he was Aaron Donald or T.J. Watt. He's definitely replaceable.
I think he is. I do think he got talked about among, like, people were throwing his name around with the top defensive ends in the game.
Right.
Sacks, yes. He's not the versatile player or the game record that all those others.
He's not Myles Garrett. Yeah, he's not Myles Garrett.
Like, there's a lot of guys that he's not.
Right.
And he's not.
But he's now gone, and now you don't even have close to what I don't like, because I'm not a fan of Josh Sweat's game, right? And then Bryce Huff,
he disappears.
I'm excited for the Huff signing, but again, they made that signing hoping that it could turn out to be a Assan Reddick contract, right? They overpay him based on what he's produced so far with the Jets, with the hope that at some point it's a team-friendly deal.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that obviously the Bryce Huff move was a projection, as you outlined, but I do like he's very explosive, good first step quickness. I think his best football is in front of him, and that's what the Eagles are certainly betting on. But good hand usage and everything like that, and I think that he's a player that can be a building block moving forward. Let's not forget that going into next season, Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith are going to be assured to be under contract for 2025.
Scary times.
So does that tell you, or is it overstating it, that 2024 does have a sort of a win-now feel to it?
It certainly does.
More than maybe we're even stating.
Oh, it certainly does, especially when you look at all those factors, John. And that's why, and we mentioned this at the top of the show, at the top of the segment, that the Eagles probably aren't done. They have a lot of outside of the draft. I think that there are certain positions that you look at, wide receiver, look at tight end too. They need to get somebody developmental behind Dallas Goedert that can be a factor in the passing game. And I also think that you need to add a right guard to compete with Tyler Steen. I've always been a really big proponent of young players need an opportunity to take their lumps and get in there and get their reps. But if you have a chance to take a good player that can be a difference maker on that offensive line, you can't bypass that.
Does the Reddick trade change what you think they might do in the draft, or do you think this was coming? Like, eventually Assan Reddick was going to be traded, and they may already have the direction that they were heading in come draft day?
I think that this was ultimately decided, and I don't know that it would ultimately alter their course in the draft. This is a team that philosophically always prioritizes building through the trenches, as you guys well know. Mm-hmm. And when you look at what they currently have from a pass rush standpoint, there's a lot of question marks there. Huff hasn't played more than 50 snaps. Josh Sweat wore down the stretch. Nolan Smith could not get onto the field when they really needed somebody to take on some snaps last season to alleviate the burden from Sweat and Reddick. Zach Bond was a free agent signing who they targeted, but he's also hasn't been much of an entity on defense. So there's a lot of question marks there, and I think to make sure that you have a contingency plan there, you want to have another young edge rusher in there that you can throw into a rotation so that you don't run into the same problem as last season.
You and I have had discussions on Nolan Smith before. Is it that he couldn't get on the field, or they fired the defensive coordinator and then another one that was trash, or was it mismanagement? Did he not get enough opportunities to get on the field and show what he could do?
I think that he couldn't get on the field. If you're the Eagles and you see your two top edge rushers that are logging a ton of snaps and they're losing their effectiveness, I mean, you would want somebody out there to kind of throw in to alleviate some of that pressure, and they still couldn't find a way to get him on there. I think that he needs to get – well, I know that he needs to get stronger physically, and you worry about the shoulder and the injury. So last season for me was more him finding his way in the NFL, developing, refining his skill set. And then this is a really big season for him, obviously. And you can't, and I always caution folks, don't be quick to write off a young player until you've seen at least 3 seasons of what they're able to accomplish.
Well, you would have written off Brandon Graham.
Oh yeah.
Fletcher arrived.
Pretty early. At one point, remember Kelsey said during his press conference that it was year 3 or year 4, people were done with him.
Right. I mean,
exactly. Great example.
Kelsey wasn't Kelsey.
Right. And now he's a potential first ballot Hall of Famer. So it's amazing. Now, look, we have one segment left with Andrew. Andrew Tacheko joining us from Inside the Birds. He's been here since 8 o'clock. So during this next segment, this final segment with Andrew, at 610-632-0975 and ask a few questions, or you can call in. I know we have a couple people on the line that want to ask the question, just the old-fashioned way, over the phone, John. 610-632-0975. And you mentioned the Devontae Smith extension earlier today, John. We'll talk to Andrew about that, try to gauge where he thinks that might end up happening. It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food.
This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
For the entire hour by our man Andrew DeCecco from Inside the Birds. You'll be able to hear this again on our website later, 97.5thefanatic.com. It's been a great quick hour with a lot of great conversation about the Eagles. And we have a couple of texts that we'll give to you coming up as this segment continues. But you guys talked about the Devontae Smith extension a little bit. So you think he holds off because he wants to see where the market is set. Now, we see it all the time with the quarterbacks. Like, Jalen Hurts was the highest-paid quarterback for, 6 minutes until the next one until the next one happened.
What was it, Joe Burrow?
Yeah,
Lamar was after
but
him.
then it was Burrow or it was Herbert. Again, it changes all the time. Devontae Smith is a tremendous player. Does he get paid close to Justin Jefferson? I can't see that.
Right. It depends on when he gets paid. Because the market could get reset with Devontae depending on how long he holds off. But no, I would imagine it'd be a tick under Justin.
Yeah, I would imagine, right. He's going to get paid a ton of money. So we should expect maybe after this season.
The way that the offseason's going, I would probably say yes, just given how much money they've doled out to different guys, Landon Dickerson and the like.
He's not going to be happy. I'm telling you right now, he's not going to be happy.
Who, Devontae?
Yes.
Well, if he wants to wait.
If he plays his fourth year of the rookie deal, they exercise the fifth-year option, right? And he's playing knowing they've exercised the fifth-year option, and he has a chance to face major injury in his fourth year without getting locked down. I think the price just in his mind goes up. I think they got to get this done.
No, I do think they have to get it done, but you have to look at it from Devontae's perspective as well. Is that he wants to get paid the maximum amount of money. So there's the flip side of that where
you're playing chicken. Though.
Right. There's the flip side of that.
But that is his decision.
No, I got you. But they'd be playing chicken. I bet you. I'm thinking it gets done before. I'm guessing it's going to get done before. They can't let this go. The price is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, and that might track with obviously not paying Assan Reddick. You can't pay everybody.
Right. Absolutely. All right, what kind of text messages do we have, Connor? On the text line, 610-632-0975. If you have a question, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, for sure. We got a couple. Here's one from Joey from Jersey. Do you think the production of Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley will be better if Kellen Moore has Jalen play more under center this year?
What's up, Jay? Yeah, I do, actually. I think that's really going to accentuate Saquon, and also it's going to elevate Jalen's game. And I think Saquon is going to be more of a factor in the passing game than we've seen from other Eagles running backs with Jalen Hurts at the helm, just given what we've seen from Kellen Moore and his propensity to use the running backs in that manner. So I think ultimately you're going to see a very versatile weapon, and they're going to be able to do some different things that we haven't seen, and Saquon's going to be a really big part of it.
All right, as the smart football man that you are, and not the shock jock radio host like we are, no excuses for Jalen Hurts this year. But how long is that leash? Because we were messing around about this yesterday. We can already hear the excuses. Well, it's his third offensive coordinator in 3 years.
I don't want to hear that.
Oh, they don't play in the preseason. So give him time. How long until you start saying, all right, he needs to start playing like the quarterback that you paid him for with the talent? I mean, look, he's got immense talent around him. There's no excuse with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, that offensive line. How long are you willing to wait until you start saying, all right, this is the quarterback that they paid him for to be?
4 weeks into the season, after you establish that continuity on the field,
okay,
meaningful snaps with those guys, because you're going to have some different moving parts in there. In all likelihood, a young wide receiver 3. You're going to have you're going to have another tight end in there. You're going to have Saquon in there. You're going to have a new offensive line. Most importantly, a lot of different pieces on the offensive line, I should say, that you have to sort of account for. But I think after four weeks or so, you sort of get an idea of your personnel and get a good feel for it. You're paying Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback in this league, and you need to see him be able to elevate the offense. They're surrounding him with an abundance of talent, and he's got to optimize that.
You brought up something, though, that has been, as I've gone down the Kellen Moore rabbit hole, and I am definitely Kellen Moore excited. The amount of snaps under center, that's going to be incredibly different for Jalen Hurts. And I wonder how much of a transition that's going to be. Is him being under center and not having him back there in shotgun and making him comfortable? I think this is going to make him very uncomfortable.
It will, but it's not going to be an either or. Like, I think that there'll be a balance between the two, but it is going to be a shock because he's never really experienced that. So those are all things that need to be taken into account, which is why OTAs, training camp is so crucial to getting the timing down. And I also think that's why you need to afford at least a month just to kind of for him to get his feet under him and get a sense of what Kellen Moore is looking to accomplish offensively.
Awesome stuff. Connor, do we have another text? We probably have time for one more text for Andrew Dzechko at 610-632-0975.
Yeah, we do. I swear I'm not making up these names because it's all J names today, but this is JJ from Allentown.
We had Jay, Joey, and JJ.
Yeah, but yes, Andrew, in your opinion, is there any player or position in the draft is worth the Eagles moving up for in the first round?
Cornerback, Quinyon Mitchell. Phenomenal talent, the best corner in the draft, from my view anyway. Someone that's going to be pretty quickly be among the upper echelon corners. He can press, he can play off, he can tackle, he's fluid, he's got great ball skills, and he's very instinctive. I think that he's the full package, and if they have a chance to move up and get him,
What's kind of number?
What's that?
What kind of number? You're at 22 now.
Yeah.
Where are you going to move to?
I don't know if there's
shopping in his neighborhood.
Right, so I don't know if there's a cornerback taken within the top 10 picks. So I would say, John, probably 13, 15.
Because I love looking at the charts of movement. So to go 22 to 13, you're probably talking about giving up a third, a fourth, a third and a sixth, something like that.
Yeah,
to be able to
exactly.
make
So
that
I
move.
would probably say right around, between 13 and more likely 15 you would have to get to. Now, when we started this process, he would, by all accounts, be available at 22. Toledo is not exactly a football factory.
Right.
But he continued to check off all the boxes throughout the process. And right now, he's really few players have elevated their stock more than he has, and now he's sort of out of striking distance.
What when it comes to this draft, we always hear this is the wide receiver draft. This is the star-studded running back draft. What position group is this the deep draft for, and what position group is this it lacks much talent?
Offensive line, it's very strong. Wide receiver, it's incredibly deep. When I look at the edge rusher group, it's top-heavy, which is why I went early with an edge rusher here, because that's where you're going to find an impact guy. But there's not a whole lot of depth in this class.
Okay. Listen, man, hour flew by again.
That really did fly by.
It flew by. We had a lot of fun last week. We had a lot of fun again today. We are 3 Thursdays away from the NFL draft, and Andrew DeCecco is all over it. Check him out on social media. Make sure you follow Inside the Birds as well. You, Jeff, and Adam Kaplan do tremendous work. So
More specials coming up, too, with Bill?
What's
We
that?
have some more specials coming in
Wednesday.
now in the draft.
Wednesday.
So next Wednesday, another special draft show with him and Bill Colarulo. So check that out, Andrew. Thank you so much. If you missed the majority of this hour, you can check it out later on when it's podcasted on 97.5thefanatic.com. Coming up next, we continue the conversation about the Fan Bill of Rights, and we'll also be another hour closer to tonight's Sixers Heat game. We'll reset the show that we've gotten into. We'll also talk some John Tortorella later on. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I stole all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I saw all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
My favorite part about First Friday is having all the fans come in. We love seeing these guys come in. It's going to be the first one on Kincade Salciunas, so I'm excited to see all our loyal listeners show up and have a good time.
About First Friday is that I don't have to be in my studio here. I have this really cool camera that I'm in the studio with the show, and I don't have to sit next to Brendan Gunn.
We're excited to see whether it's the YouTubers coming out or everybody coming out for First Friday, getting a chance to talk NFL draft with Tim McManus. We are 3 weeks out to the draft, so now maybe he knows what the Eagles' plan is.
YouTubers, well, I got my first Friday where I'm on the show. Usually I used to come in as a guest. Well, now this time, to eat. I saw all the food. This time, Bob Cooney will be joining us at some point during First Friday, so the roles are reversed a little bit, and he'll steal our food.
YouTube, we got a really special day planned for you on Friday, and joining us for a full hour, Amy Fadul of NBC Sports Philadelphia. She knows the entire Philadelphia sports scene. Going to be a great time, free breakfast, us. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.
Kincade Salciunas on this Thursday morning. Again, another reminder, tomorrow, the first Friday of Kincade Salciunas.
Looking forward to it.
You can still get in on 975thefanatic.com. Register to come in, and we hope to see you. We'll have some delicious Nifty 50s food tomorrow. We're going to have some great guests in studio. Tim McManus will be joining us. Amy Fadul will be joining us. Bob Cooney will be, he'll just wander down the hall and join us.
Well, wait. When Nifty 50s is there, Bob will find his way.
I think a lot of people are going to find their way. Greg Monahan will find his way.
Yes, he will.
He always finds his way.
Candy Winters will come over from the country station.
Man, if it's free, it's me. I live by that life.
Peter and Stan will probably come down.
If it's free, it's me. So here's the deal. Kevin the Gandhi normally joins us at this time. There's a snowstorm in Bristol.
What?
So we finally...
Wait a minute, he's making stuff up now.
We finally see sun for the first time in like 8 years. And they have a snowstorm in Bristol, so his kids are still home because they had a 2-hour snow delay. So we're going to try to get Kevin on tomorrow.
That'll be good.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to reset the show. So we pivoted to Eagles talk when Andrew DeCecco joined us for the last hour, which was a ton of fun. So here's what we were talking about the first 2 hours of the show, and it's how we're going to finish off the final hour of today's show. First, tonight's game is a big one. Sixers and Heat. And it's a big one for a couple of reasons. You get to see, I think Joel Embiid plays. The questionable tag, I made nothing of it. You were concerned when you saw it. I made nothing of the questionable tag. I just think that's the rest of Joel Embiid's career. He's going to be listed as questionable every single week, right? Just like how football linemen are listed as questionable almost every single week. But it's not just seeing Joel Embiid second game back after the first game where, you always want to see how's the swelling, how is he handling himself. You're also a game and a half back of Miami. And Miami's actually in the 6th spot right now. So you're a game and a half back of behind Miami and Indiana. So you are still in the running.
Tonight's a must if you want to get out of the play-in tournament.
Out of the play-in tournament, you got to pull this one off. The Pacers losing last night to the Nets helped out a lot.
Unexpected.
And remember, we thought the Sixers would lose to the Thunder and that the Pacers would beat the Nets.
I mean,
it worked out perfectly.
This is a unexpected little gift,
right,
that you got.
And so if you pull off a win tonight with Joel Embiid, maybe we're all feeling a little bit better, not just about how Embiid's looking, but playoffs. I mean, if you're a 6 seed, you could play the Cavs, you could play the Magic, who are just a half game back of Cleveland.
I will tell you this: I might bet anything within reason, because I'm a reasonable sports wager.
Of course.
On the Bet Parks app. If the Sixers somehow matched up with the Magic in a 7-game series,
oh yeah,
I will take the Sixers all day long.
Yep,
because I think the Magic are a great story, young up and coming team.
I do too.
They're not ready for it.
No, they're not.
That would be a dream matchup.
It would be great it would be magical. Stop.
That's really not good. That wasn't good.
How you guys doing?
That wasn't good.
Rest of the hour.
By Monday morning, I believe the Sixers will have at least the 8 seed clinched.
Yeah,
and then as long as they got that,
they're up 5 games from Chicago. Like, they're not going to fall lower than 8.
Magic number against the Bulls and the Hawks is 3.
Okay.
So any combination of Sixers wins
or their
Bulls or Hawks losses, I think that will be wrapped up by Monday.
Okay, and so I'm let's say, because you're still worried about the questionable tag, let's just go into this conversation with Joel Embiid's playing tonight, right?
First of all, I ain't no bitch.
Exactly.
No one would suggest it.
Is tonight a night where people are going to get up for a Sixers game? 7:30. Like, is tonight set your reminder, alarm? Like, you let the alarm go off at 7:25. Oh, my God, I got to get to the game. Is this here's how I base if a team is on the mind or not. Is tonight a go out and watch the game night? For some, I
don't believe so.
Okay.
But I think it's absolutely. You really set your alarm to know it's game time?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
But some people do.
Okay, I don't know about that. Is that the idea is it's make sure you know where you are at 7:30 to go watch the game.
Right.
But I do not see it being a game that you're let's get everybody and go on out for it.
Because every once in a while, and it's a Thursday night. I mean, if it was Tuesday, maybe not, but it's a Thursday night. You're one day away from the weekend. And maybe some people took off.
I think after this week, you get some intriguing matchups that, as far as just being able to say, man, they can move up in the standing.
Right.
So I didn't expect the Pacers lost to the Nets last night.
No.
They have the Thunder and the Heat left this week. They could lose both of those games.
And then all the Sixers are right back in it.
Then you could be hosting the play-in game against Indiana, a team that's going to score 130 points, though.
Or if you beat Miami tonight, you could be the 6th seed. Like, the 6th seed is still not out. It's still not out of the question. The Pacers losing.
Without a win tonight, though, it's not, because Miami would be up 3-1 in the season series.
Yeah, and you don't want that. Right.
So you would be 2 games behind. You would be 2.5 behind Miami.
But technically 3.5 because of the tie break.
And then 3.5. Right. So you're done. You're done catching Miami. So I think it rules out the 6th seed.
Okay, so win tonight.
Win tonight,
and then tomorrow we're celebrating.
Open. No, it's wide open. You got a Grizzlies, Spurs, Pistons stretch coming up.
Right.
Those are 3 very winnable games.
And if you're
really
playing
games.
for seeding, you should win those games. Like, I will be angry if they drop any of those 3 games.
I would absolutely too.
All right, and the other thing that we're talking about, so last night was a crap show at Citizens Bank Park. Not just the team itself losing 4-1, but we haven't really talked much about the game. We're talking about how the Phillies handled the rain delay. So the night before, where we find out that it's moving 1 to 4 o'clock.
During the game, you found out.
Yes.
So it's at night.
We found out, but I think the team found it because Rob Thompson said to the media for his pregame availability for that would be Tuesday night's game. He said he had a phone call at 4 o'clock.
But Tom McCarthy answered it. He literally got the news
During
on
the
the
game.
air
Yeah.
during the broadcast.
Right. So we found out that the people attending, the fans found out
less than 24 hours from game time that it's shifting by 3 hours.
Right.
I don't think that's acceptable.
No. But they wanted to play. They wanted to avoid the rain. And look, by the way, if they kept it at 1 o'clock, they weren't playing at 1 o'clock.
No, so
right?
then play today.
That's the big thing. I thought that they should have played today. I didn't hate the fact that they moved it to 4. We got screwed out of it, but
yes.
I don't hate the fact that they moved it to 4 o'clock. The egregious thing was 4 o'clock, then turned to 8. It ended up being a 7-hour
first
delay.
pitch at 8 o'clock.
7-hour delay from the original time. So John had this idea that he sent us last night because you were leaving class and the game hadn't even started yet.
And my kids were in the discussion in class about, oh my gosh, this game's not even being played yet and everything. So I said, well, make up a Bill of Rights. Make
a
up
fan Bill of Rights.
And we talked about how the airlines have different rules now.
Right.
So as a fan, what should be on the fan Bill of Rights? And they came up with some really interesting ones that we've been kicking around
Do
today.
you have another one that you have from one of the
yes.
kids?
How about this? That the fees should be completely mandatory, transparent across all buying platforms.
Oh,
so
I agree.
when you're shopping for a ticket, whether it's on Phillies, Flyers, Eagles.com, whatever it is, second, it should be mandatory that there's no hidden fees.
Mm-hmm.
It is, if you're shopping for a ticket, this is the cost of the ticket.
Oh, I got one because this pissed me off last year.
What's that?
And I love the Phillies organization.
No,
to
they
death.
are. They're fine.
This pissed me off last year.
Wow.
There was a random day. Christy was away for a weekend or something. You know, what can I do with Coop? And it was a Saturday, like 2 o'clock game or whatever time it was. I was like, let's go. I'm going to take him to the ball game, right? And I knew we were only going to be there for. Now because he's still young enough, I was the only one buying a ticket, right?
Okay.
And I go, you know what? Let me avoid the online transaction fee, right? Because if you buy off the Phillies website, you're still paying like an extra $10, $15 for fees.
No, they call it these teams, all of these teams across pro sports, they call it a delivery fee or something.
Right.
So sending an email to somebody is a delivery,
fee, and a $30 ticket all of a sudden becomes $45. So I said, you know what? Let me go to the window. So I went to the window. There was a fee because they don't give you a ticket anymore.
Right.
So I went to the window. The very kind woman at the window goes, all right, what's your email? I gave her my email. All right, that'll be like $47. I was like, for section like 415, well, the online fee. I'm like, but I'm here at the.
I'm not doing it online.
I'm at the window.
Right.
So that's baloney.
And more importantly, they should never have a delivery fee to send you an email.
Right.
That's freaking ridiculous. Because I guarantee you this, they are not paying someone a real good wage that maybe sends out the email.
To do.
But I believe it's a computer.
Send.
I believe it's a computer that's sending it out anyway.
Absolutely, because the second you hit submit, it comes to your account right away.
I mean, come on.
It's unbelievable. So
it's disgraceful.
Give us some fan Bill of Rights. You can call in or text in at 610-632-0975. We have a couple other ones that we got to earlier, like refunds for parking like last night. If
the Phillies did that for the rain out.
For the rain out.
During the the World Series.
Right. But the guy that
Houston.
emailed you that had to leave at 7:15 after waiting for 4 hours, he didn't get a refund for his parking. Jerseys refunded after a trade under 6 months. Load management insurance.
Not refunded.
Not refunded. A new one, sorry.
They would renumber it, rename it for you.
Load management insurance, if you buy a ticket to see a specific team coming into town because there's a specific player on that team, and if that guy sits out because of load management, you should maybe not get your money back. Maybe you get a credit for another game.
Did you go to a lot of games as a kid? I did not.
I did.
See, I did not. So, we didn't have the money to be able to go to 12, 15 games a year.
Right.
I'd maybe go to 1 or 2, and it would be picked by the opponent.
Right. You wanted to see this team in town.
There are a lot of people who get their kids tickets. Like, I got Liv tickets. She's a big Sixers fan. I got her tickets to see the Nuggets because she wanted to see Embiid and Jokic.
Yeah.
Now, Embiid gets injured. So there's nothing you can do about that.
No, you can't do that. That's injury, not load management.
But if it had been the game in Denver, Embiid sits it out.
Right, and you should get load management insurance. I think that was a great one. The last one, another load management one, was if a player is out because of load management, they have to do at least 30 minutes of a meet and greet after, before the game, after the game. I thought that was awesome.
I think, and Connor,
I don't think it will ever happen, but I love it.
Well, I mean, there's players in Major League Baseball who won't sign autographs.
Right.
Because they have a contract to sign autographs.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, it's horrible. But I love it. Connor, you said you would wish that LeBron would get scratched when you were a kid.
Yeah, I'd
to
want
get a
guys
picture.
to not
just so you can take a picture
with
with him.
LeBron.
Yeah, the greatest basketball player of all time.
Because I believe the difference is in previous generations, athletes sold their sport. And in today's generations, the majority, vast majority of the biggest stars do not care about selling their sport.
Yeah, they go, I'm going to
sell their personal
take
brand.
care of my health and get ready for the playoffs.
Yep.
Let's go to Edith in Chester. Hello, Miss Edith.
Hello there, Andrew. Hello to John and
Hi,
John.
Edith.
How's everybody doing?
We're wonderful. Thank you again for Cooper's lovely gift. I sent you the picture. He was rocking that polo well.
Yeah, I got it. He looks good in it, too. Like I knew he would.
You're the best.
Yeah, listen, I think the fans should have a choice for the bill, in the Bill of Rights. I think we should be able to choose what we want, like a meet and greet or a makeup game or discount park, and they should have like several options across the board because one size don't always fit all.
So are you talking about, Benith, you could only do that with your players, right?
Yes.
So you couldn't do it you couldn't mandate that like LeBron does it in Philly.
No, just our players. Just our players.
Joel Embiid would have been doing a ton of these.
Well,
he would have been doing a ton of meet and greets.
Right.
And he would have been, by the way, he would have been great at it.
Yes,
he would have been. He would have been.
I love that idea.
That's what I think it should be a choice. I think it should be several options to choose what you want. Free food.
And like you said, it's different for everybody. Like if somebody drives 2 hours,
yes,
right? As opposed to somebody that might take the subway. Like if somebody takes a subway, what's free parking?
Right.
I took the subway, and that's a good point, Edith.
Yeah, that's how I think they should handle it.
I like how Edith. I want Edith on the committee.
Thanks for the call. She's the best.
I want her on the committee of deciding this fan bill of rights. I'd give Edith a seat at that table. Because I love the idea of that, is for the home team, if they're going to pull this nonsense of, we're just sitting a guy for load management, which, by the way, there's no science to it. Again, no science that says your players are going to be healthier because they do it. Then you decide to sit Maxey tonight. Maxey's on the concourse with a meet and greet.
Hanging out with people.
I think that's freaking awesome.
I love it. Now, Connor got my ear and said that he has one that we're going to hate. So we're going to get to that in a second. But I just got a tweet from our man Kevin, who was one of our winners for the Phillies tickets.
Kevin, so sorry, dude.
Oh. So he just tweets in, what section does reparations for winning a radio contest and moving your work/family schedule for a 7-hour rain delay? He said, by the way, Dan Baker still called it the business person special.
No, he didn't.
You can't do that. Sir. You can't do the business person special at 8 o'clock.
Now, we told them, our winners from the first contest, if they would like to come to a First Friday, we got you.
Yeah, and
we got you. You tell us, we'll get in touch.
When Fan Fest comes around,
we will take care of you
up.
Because we love you that you were our first winners. Connor found this incredibly humorous.
I thought it was hilarious. We just did the worst giveaway. Like, our first giveaway was the worst in the history of this station, probably.
You know what, though?
John said we're only up from here. It was great. That's true.
Next week, we're giving away Ebola. So it's great. Sign up now.
Sign up now if you want it. All right, so what is the fan bill? See, now this is, if you think we're going to hate it, how could it be a fan bill of rights?
Well, I think you're going to hate it because it's not realistic.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how realistic it would be.
All right,
but I would love if there was a way that you could institute shutout insurance. If you go, it doesn't really work it wouldn't work for the NBA, but for if you go to a Flyers game and they get shut out, if you go to a Phillies game and they get shut out.
Dude, if you go to then you're getting free tickets to every soccer game in the world.
Not free tickets. But it would be like, how they do the Brickin' for Chicken.
Brickin' for Chicken.
Yes.
If you get shut out, sorry we didn't play up to your expectations. Here's a small fry.
A team is never going to.
I know it's not realistic.
But
here's a small fry.
A team is never going to do something like a promotion with like a local company or anything that promotes them being bad.
Yeah, so what happens? Let's say the Flyers are losing 5-0.
Told you you're gonna hate
does Dan Hilferty go up to the opposing team's owner and go, hey, can you let one slide in?
They should be trying to score anyway. What are they lying down?
It's gonna be. You're still gonna win 5-1, but can you let us score one goal? We don't want to give out everybody a free fry.
It's the fans' bill of rights, though.
Here's one. I'm trying to remember the exact details of it. Lon Kruger was the coach of the Atlanta Hawks, and they were really, really bad. And they were trying to get people to come out to games. And there was a ticket insurance.
Really?
There was something about if you bought a ticket and you saw a loss, I got to get the details.
See,
I got to
I'm
go
a
back.
visionary.
If you got a loss, then you got a discount off of a future ticket.
That's never going to happen again.
And
Ever.
they needed to sell so many tickets
All
because
right,
they
so
were
maybe
that bad.
like the Athletics should do that,
Right.
Because like 6 people are going to the games right now.
Where you saw, if you see a loss, you got some sort of an opportunity to come back.
But you
at a
have to be like
discounted rate.
really, really bad.
No, and they were really,
Yeah.
really bad. But Lon Kruger, I remember, Coach Kruger did the ad campaign for it and everything. I'm just trying to remember what it was because it was pretty crazy. I would ask Stan Kasten, but he's too busy with the Ohtani investigation. Where's that gone, by the way?
It disappeared. I told you.
Okay.
I told you it was going to disappear.
What has gone away faster? The Ohtani investigation, or maybe if you're talking about a Sixers player getting hit on their bike by a hit and run?
Dude,
which investigation has gone away quicker?
I don't know why you still get hung up on that. I believe the guy. You got hit by
but where's the – that should be resolved.
man.
That should be resolved.
Maybe it did, and you just don't know about it.
No, it's
Maybe
a public
it
story. You don't know. No.
Maybe it went away.
This is a
public
non-story.
There's a public story that's in the press for an entire week.
I can't believe we're 6 games away from the playoffs, and you're still caught on the Kelly
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering where the no camera of it, no nothing. I'm just
Don't
wondering.
wonder about it. You're gonna hurt your brain.
Yeah,
Just
don't
let it go.
even wonder about
it. It went into the ether.
But I told you,
Yes.
we told you the Ohtani
Disappeared.
thing would go away. We told you the day
Well, it's not gone away. It's just the
Who's
press
talking
coverage
about
of
it
it's
anymore?
gone.
You're
No,
the only one that's talking about
No,
it.
but there's an investigation launched by Major League Baseball. Where's the update? What's going on?
Because they're going to keep it quiet.
Exactly.
And they might find something, and they might go, "Oh, he's the best
Do you
player
watch
in baseball."
Criminal Minds?
I do not. My
Okay.
wife and daughter loved it.
Maybe start. That might be the outlet you need.
They
there.
loved that.
Put together those cases.
Wasn't that the serial killer show?
I don't know what it is. I never really
Yeah,
watched
my wife
anything
and daughter
like
liked that show.
All right, so here's the deal. We got coming up next, 9:30 is becoming the John Tortorella segment.
It sort of has been.
Because, after 3.5 hours, when you start at 6 a.m. or when you're up at 4 o'clock, you need to find something. And you don't drink coffee during the show.
I do not.
So, sometimes we need to find the natural energy booster. And yesterday, you were red in the face for about 6 minutes talking about John Tortorella.
Yeah, not about him. About the media coverage in this city of John Tortorella, which is like, get out the violins and where the players don't agree with the media coverage.
So
his own players don't agree with the way the media spins it.
Well, John Tortorella spoke about that yesterday.
Can't wait till people hear
So
this.
we will play that clip coming your way next, and John will react because it's the John for John segment, right? John Kincade for John Tortorella, 9:30 every day on Kincade and Salciunas.
And believe me, Tortorella would be like, I don't need him stumping for.
And if you have any more fan Bill of Rights that you want us to, add to the list, you can call in or you can text in at 610-632-0975. We'd love to get some more ideas because these have been great. We've had a lot of good ones. The only ones that we can't really fly with is everybody gets free money every single time.
Or Connors.
Or Connors. Yeah.
I told you would hate it.
Shutout insurance.
You're so
Ridiculous. We would love for you to, send some in at 610-632-0975 on the text line, or also you can call in, and it's the John Tortorella segment coming your way next. Still to come, Kincade and Salciunas, Key 3, and the Bob Cooney crossover, all ahead, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
You on YouTube. What's
I
up?
was talking to me. What are you yelling at the YouTube audience?
Well, because they're always talking crap about us, so I might as well yell back at them.
But you know what they are? They're very loyal. They're very, very loyal.
Yeah, they're all so sweet.
They are so sweet. And they all listen every single day, and they watch on YouTube, which
Yes.
is a blessing to us.
And we love you, and we thank you for watching us every single morning. And
Most days we love them.
Yeah.
Some days we like you.
Yeah, but not all days they love us or even
no.
like us.
No, it depends.
So the feeling's mutual. But
Yes.
thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Stay with us.
As good as Tyrese Maxey is, he can't carry an offense. Not from his position. Not when other teams can can so easily stop either him, not easily stop him, but if you design to double team him, or if you design to take the ball out of his hands, other guys have to be there. And once again, last night, you just didn't have it. Tobias Harris was the only other double-digit scorer from the starters. Two guys, I think it was Council and somebody else, Wilson, off the bench. That got you double figures. So Nick Nurse went to the bench really early. You could see it was just kind of, I'm trying, but you guys just don't have it.
So we're all expecting Howie Roseman to make another move.
But there are players you have to extend, number one. You got to account for the draft and the practice squad. How far into the cap are they? I don't know the number off my head. How far into the cap are they?
I think it's high 20s or low 30s.
Yes.
Left.
Again, there are going to be guys that you're going to want to extend. Devonta Smith is going to have to get a deal to pay your draft class, pay the practice squad, keep money for moves. You know, we're going to be talking later this summer, the end of the summer, before the final cut down. You're going to want them to trade for somebody or do something at that point in time. Again, yeah, they have some money, probably not as much as you think right now. And am I expecting another big move? I think on the one hand, they're always looking. But I think if you're looking for that high profile, there are no more of them available. Like that market's kind of shrunk up. Who do you want them to go add right now?
Well, I do not want them to add Justin Simmons. If I'm hearing that they didn't want to pay Assan Reddick, I sure as hell don't want to bring in another guy going in his early 30s and then pay him big money to come in.
Well, and based on what they, I don't think they would.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better then.
Yeah, I don't think they would, based on the logic with Assan Reddick. You know, if Justin Simmons came in at a number, a price, would they do that? Maybe. Yeah. Like, I'm making this up. What if it's a 1-year deal worth, I don't know, some friendly number?
I'd do that? Oh, I absolutely would consider it. But the thing is, I wonder was a 1-year offer at a nice number considered to extend Assan Reddick? Every deal I'm going to look at and say, could that deal have been done to keep Assan Reddick here?
But Reddick wanted a new deal. He wanted a new deal last season.
Yes.
Right?
He did. You let the other guy wet his pants. The person let in 2 terrible goals.
Can you go wet his pants? We were literally just talking about how no, they were terrible.
No, they were terrible. That is wetting your pants. As a goaltender, he let in 2 goals that the average NHL goaltender does not let in. Those 2 goals were terrible.
They were horrible.
They were.
The guys were playing pretty much all season long out of necessity.
And I said that. There's a lot of it.
Okay, a big reason. They lost their goaltender.
Andrew, all that praise. I praised him all year long. But the bottom line is, the coach knew the backup goalie was ready to play. And he didn't play him.
What is it that Haley wants us to do?
I don't know. The show's about to start again.
Wait, is that Connor yelling for us to get back on?
Guys, you know you got to come back from break.
So just zip it.
All right.
Let's go.
See you guys. Hey, you on YouTube. What's
I thought
up?
he was talking to me. What are you yelling at the YouTube audience?
Well, because they're always talking crap about us, so I might as well yell back at them.
But you know what they are? They're very loyal. They're very, very loyal.
Yeah, they're all so sweet.
They are so sweet. And they all listen every single day, and they watch on YouTube, which is a blessing to us.
And we love you, and we thank you for watching us every single morning. And
Most days we love them.
Yeah.
Some days we like you.
Yeah, but not all days they love us or even like us.
No, it depends.
So the feeling's mutual. But thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Stay with us.
good as Tyrese Maxey is, he can't carry an offense. Not from his position. Not when other teams can so easily stop either him, not easily stop him, but if you design to double team him, or if you design to take the ball out of his hands, other guys have to be there. And once again, last night, you just didn't have it. Tobias Harris was the only other double-digit scorer from the starters. Two guys, I think it was Council and somebody else, Wilson, off the bench. That got you double figures. So Nick Nurse went to the bench really early. You could see it was just kind of, I'm trying, but you guys just don't have it.
So we're all expecting Howie Roseman to make another move.
But there are players you have to extend, number one.
This Thursday morning, Kincade Salciunas. This segment has been turning into the John Tortorella segment. Yesterday you popped off, and I'm sure you will again in a couple of minutes.
In support of the
in support of the head coach. But before we do that, a great addition to the Fan Bill of Rights from our man Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Another Jay. We've been
it's been a Jay show today.
Jay and Joe'd up, man. For the Fan Bill of Rights, I think this is a great idea. And honestly, dude, baseball especially should do this.
Okay.
Gates open up on a Saturday or Sunday. One time per month. Or, I don't know, it doesn't have to be one time. It could be a couple times. 45 minutes earlier for kids 14 and under. And they get moved to a reserved section to watch warm-ups. So let's say left field or right field. Now, they have to be ready for missiles coming their way in batting practice. But think of what's that guy, Zach Hampel, that loser?
Dude, he's the worst, yeah.
That loser that catches all the, you know who I'm talking about? The guy who catches all the home runs and the foul balls and whatnot.
The memorabilia whores are amongst the worst things in American sports.
And they take it from kids. I just watched, there's a video. I don't know how old it is, but it's popped on my timeline twice this past week. It looked like it was a spring training game. And there was a ball being hit during batting practice, and these 4 kids were trying to catch it. And this guy shoved the kid down. Doesn't even end up getting the ball. And somebody was videotaping him, watching him sulk back to, like, wherever his beach blanket was. You know how it's at the Bay Care, you can sit
on
out
the hill, yeah.
So it wasn't Phillies. It was a different stadium. And he literally pushed a kid down trying to catch a freaking batting practice home run ball.
Get your weight up, son.
Yeah, exactly. But I love this idea. And he said for the 45 minutes earlier, kids can watch batting practice. Maybe some of the players are cool enough to go up there and get autographs or whatever. And the parents sit in a different section or wait in the concourse. So, like, you let the kids.
People aren't going to send their 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds in a stadium without them.
No, not into the. No, you're allowed into the stadium with them.
No, I got you, but they're not going to take them out of their eyesight. I don't think there's a lot of parents that would do that.
Well, if it's section 140 and you're sitting in 135,
no, that could work. I mean, if it's you got them in eyesight,
right? And it's only the kids that are 14 and under.
I would love to see. Why not? And they did it. They did the Father's Day. We used to do the promotion of play catch on the field.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
That they would let 100 kids play catch on the field.
And it's smart for baseball because you're trying to grab a younger audience.
Yes,
we know what the averages are of people that watch baseball, even though it is heading in the right direction.
The average primetime viewer is older than me.
Right.
That's not good.
Do things to try to
do. Can't do it. Thank you, Connor.
Do things to. How do you feel now?
No, I mean, it's
no, I'm saying this show, like Bob used to get the old jokes.
And Bob's not older than me.
But, you're working with 2 30-year-olds.
Bob gets because Pat would always call Bob Pop-Up.
Yeah.
Because of their very close relationship. I don't consider – the weird thing is that when I would always laugh at that. Because in many ways, I consider Egan older than Cooney.
Right.
I think Bob is very youthful.
Dude, I'm 30 going on 60.
But I think Bob is extremely youthful.
Bob drives a Model T. He's not like
Bob is spry as hell, is what I would say. And I think Bob does his best to stay in touch with being younger.
Right.
I think Egan many times comes off as grumpy old man.
Now, one more thing off of last night, and then we're going to get to the John Tortorella reaction because his quote was awesome.
It was delicious.
It was awesome. Our Brendan Bertrelli, who does a great job here at the station.
Love.
So he went to the game last night. Did he tell you what happened? Second inning, no more beer sales.
What? They sent home the beer sales?
Probably because they had been there since 4 o'clock. They're probably getting paid, what, by the hour? I don't know how.
That's freaking ridiculous.
How the vendors get paid. I
Okay,
imagine
that's
it's by the hour.
ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
So imagine you sit through that 4 freaking hour rain delay. And Brendan, I felt bad. I was like, how? Because I saw that he was there last night. I was like, how was it? He goes, dude, once the game started, all I wanted was a beer. And he had a beer like before the game started. So then he goes up to the concession in the second inning. They said, sorry, we're already done selling beers.
They were not allowed. They weren't allowed. There was a timeline on selling alcohol.
Yeah, there has to be.
No, but that's then you don't play the game.
Right, you're making it.
Don't play the game.
The game is also part of the experience for the fan, and you're making it a horrible experience.
That
for
is
the
not.
fan.
That is not fair. That's not fair because part of going to a game is the concessions, and many of the concessions were closed, by the way.
Yes.
Too. That's not fair.
You can't stop serving, and I get it. The beer thing, I understand. You don't want people, but you know what? Then serve. Look, I used to work at Eating Good in the Neighborhood, 15th and Chestnut. Has that guy been overserved? Oh, yeah. All right, we should cut him off. There's 12 people at the Phillies game last night, so it's not like they're worried about 46,000 drunken idiots. There was a couple of people.
That is not. Now, there might be a state regulation or something that bans it.
Yeah.
Then you don't start selling it that early.
At 4 o'clock.
If you know it's
don't
coming.
you don't move the game 4 hours. And open up the gates still.
That's not
you
right.
move it to today.
I'm telling you, that's not right.
All
I
right.
agree with you guys. Don't treat me like I'm the one who told him to stop selling beer.
It's your fault,
you like
Connor.
it.
I'm pro beer.
You are
absolutely.
You're in the pro beer party.
I am pro beer.
All right. So yesterday the Flyers did not play. They're not playing today. They're off until tomorrow, and they have the back-to-back, and they need to start piling up some wins. But John Tortorella did have media availability yesterday, and it's funny. During this time yesterday, the 9:30 segment yesterday, you reacted to remind the people what was being said about John Tortorella.
I love Mike Sealski's writing.
Mm-hmm.
If Mike Sealski was writing on the side of 95 on an underpass, I would stop and go have to read it. He's that great a writer. But there is a narrative that gets pushed in this town, and it is false. And it's completely easy to research. Well, John Tortorella, he's going to burn through this team. Is this the beginning of the end of John Tortorella? He can really wear on players, and that's what happens. That is a complete falsehood. The average NHL coach doesn't coach 3 years. John Tortorella has doubled the average NHL coach's tenure in 3 different cities already.
Yes.
That is not a real narrative. It's false, but it keeps getting repeated.
Wow.
And it just annoys me because this is something simple that can be easily researched.
Right. Well,
he is actually in the modern era one of the biggest guys that you would say is a tenured coach anywhere he goes.
Now, it wasn't just repeated. It was asked about yesterday during his media availability, and I love the response that Torts gives yesterday during his press conference.
This comes down to, right? It always comes down, they're going to quit on him. It follows me around, and so be it. If a player's going to quit on me or players are going to quit on me because I'm trying to make them better people and better athletes, you got the wrong damn coach here, and you got the wrong damn people here. So I'm not sure what goes on. My job is I am going to push athletes, and I have other things on my mind that I don't give you. I was in control the other night. What I said I meant, and quite honestly, when I watch the tape now, I'm more concerned than just the second period because I'm so proud of the team getting here. And I guess now the narrative out there is, because I've heard from other people, that they're young, they're not supposed to be here. Bullshit. We're here. Face it. And let's be better. And I don't think we're ready to be better. And that's my problem with us right now. And it is my job. I have not done a good enough job to get them over the hump after playing those 7 games. And then each game as it goes down, we have 6 left. I haven't done a good enough job to make them understand we have to be different now. We have to be at a different level. That's my frustration with me, and that's my frustration with the team. And if people can't handle it, so be it.
And more,
that's awesome.
I will tell you this, and I know many players, and I've talked to many players in the NHL and interviewed them about it. Guys who have played for Tortorella. Mm-hmm. He is a guy who always, to his players, is accountable. To his players, he'll go, I didn't do a good...
And he straight up said it.
And he just did it there publicly.
Yeah.
The way it's portrayed, who are the players coming out bitching and moaning about John Tortorella? We've had one.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who got benched because he had 1 goal in 27 games. Cry me a freaking river. It's a narrative that needs to be squashed. Whether you think he has done. Dylan asked me yesterday. Well, he needs to take responsibility for not doing a good job. John Tortorella is across the NHL right now. If you asked anybody, is John Tortorella done a good job this year? Is he doing a good job? People be like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, they're almost in the playoffs.
He has squeezed the most juice out of that lemon that anybody could have. He's done an amazing job, and he doesn't want them to crap out at the end, and I don't blame him.
No.
And I love the fact that, again, his players. You heard from Morgan Frost. Morgan Frost is like, I can't be doing what I did in overtime.
Right.
He understands it. He's all over Morgan Frost. And you know what? Morgan Frost understands it. Now, bloggers and writers don't understand it. Oh my gosh, Morgan Frost, he may go into the corner and start sucking his thumb. No, Morgan Frost owned it. Understand. Do not, as a Philly sports fan, do not believe what you're being told by a media narrative about a coach. Go to his players. Talk to players in the league about him. It's falsehood. And I think it's to me, it just is. It's a lazy narrative that's been allowed to exist.
It's the John Tortorella segment.
There it is.
Brought to us by John Kincade.
And look, if he gets this team to the playoffs, there is, I mean, it's a couple notches below water into wine.
I mean,
it's that
team
kind of
wasn't
accomplishment.
supposed to be close.
I think they're already right now 17 points ahead of, or 16 points ahead of their over-under projection. Yeah. And I mean, it's ridiculous that but he says it always follows me because
he
people just
he
don't
knows
understand.
it, which is great.
And it's not true. It's so easy to just go, I shouldn't say that because it doesn't make sense.
Here's the other thing, John.
Yeah.
He said, I was not out of control when I said what I had to say. I'm sure before he had his press conference, he addressed his team that he was unhappy with their second period play. I'm sure he told them during the intermission leading up to the third period.
They played
so it's not like he caught him off guard by going on that rant.
And more importantly, I can tell. I don't know. I could tell a story because it's statute of limitations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing video and stats for Mike Keenan back in the day in the coach's office. He asks for Ronnie Sutter to be called into the room to review video with him. So I would literally have to go, me or my buddy Leon, would have to go get the player.
Right.
Bring him in.
And go through the film session.
And he's telling Ronnie Sutter, you are going to be picking Hershey Kisses out of your backside if you don't start playing better, and your brother is never going to get brought up. He's like, and I would watch them 2 days later having have
a great game.
So what'd you do last night? What were you doing last night? Oh, yeah, I'm short. 1 beer? Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
like the kind of interaction, and you'd be like, okay, that's really weird. How do you just turn it off? That the coaches, when the coach wants the best out of you,
they're a little harder on you.
They're going to be harder on you.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. They've gotten this far. They're almost at the playoffs, and I celebrate what John Tortorella has been able to do with this team. I don't see how you can't celebrate it. Like, I know people might. Here's the thing. Like, what would you rather have? That honesty or Sirianni saying, "Oh yeah, I told Jalen Hurts to take a shot downfield to AJ Brown." He may have stood up for his players, but he did the whole we tried drawing it off pass interference. Like, that sounded dumb.
There was a player in the 87 playoff run for the Flyers that ended up with feminine hygiene products put in their locker by a certain coach. I'm telling you.
Different day and age,
different day and age. But you know what, though? The players today, they don't mind tough coaching as long as it's consistent and fair.
Right. That was the John Tortorella segment brought to you by John
Thank
Kincade.
you.
It's been back-to-back days at 9:30.
Come on, Torts.
Coming your way next, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. It's the 3 best minutes from today's show. Could be anything. Could be, topics. It could be guests. It could be weird moments in the show. It's the 3 best minutes, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. And then we're always joined afterward by Bob Cooney as we do our crossover, and we find out what's coming your way on the midday show at 10 o'clock. So one more segment left. Kincade Salciunas Key 3 your way next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, you on YouTube.
What's up? I was talking to me. What are you yelling at the YouTube audience?
Well, because they're always talking crap about us, so I might as well yell back at them.
But you know what they are? They're very loyal. They're very, very loyal.
They're all so sweet.
They are so sweet. And they all listen every single day, and they watch on YouTube, which is a blessing to us.
And we love you, and we thank you for watching us every single morning. And
Most days we love them.
Yeah.
Some days we like you.
Yeah, but not all days they love us or even like us.
No, it depends.
So the feeling's mutual. But thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Stay with us.
As good as Tyrese Maxey is, he can't carry an offense. Not from his position. Not when other teams can so easily stop either him, not easily stop him, but if you design to double team him, or if you design to take the ball out of his hands, other guys have to be there. And once again, last night, you just didn't have it. Tobias Harris was the only other double-digit scorer from the starters. Two guys, I think it was Council and somebody else, Wilson, off the bench. That got you double figures. So Nick Nurse went to the bench really early. You could see it was just kind of, I'm trying, but you guys just don't have it.
So we're all expecting Howie Roseman to make another move.
But there are players you have to extend, number one. You got to account for the draft and the practice squad. How far into the cap are they? I don't know the number off my head. How far into the cap are they?
I think 20s or low 30s.
Yes.
Left.
Again, there are going to be guys that you're going to want to extend. Devonta Smith is going to have to get a deal to pay your draft class, pay the practice squad, keep money for moves. You know, we're going to be talking later this summer, the end of the summer, before the final cut down. You're going to want them to trade for somebody or do something at that point in time. Again, yeah, they have some money, probably not as much as you think right now. And am I expecting another big move? I think on the one hand, they're always looking, but I think if you're looking for that high profile, there are no more of them available. Like that market's kind of shrunk up. Who do you want them to go add right now?
Well, I do not want them to add Justin Simmons. If I'm hearing that they didn't want to pay Assan Reddick, I sure as hell don't want to bring in another guy going in his early 30s and then pay him big money to come in.
Well, and based on what they've done, I don't think they would.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better then.
Yeah, I don't think they would, based on the logic with Assan Reddick. You know, if Justin Simmons came in at a number, a price, would they do that? Maybe. Yeah. Like, I'm making this up. What if it's a 1-year deal worth, I don't know, some friendly number?
I'd do that? Oh, I absolutely would consider it. But the thing is, I wonder was a 1-year offer at a nice number considered to extend Assan Reddick? Every deal I'm going to look at and say, could that deal have been done to keep Assan Reddick here?
But Reddick wanted a new deal. He wanted a new deal last season.
Yes.
Right?
He did. You let the other guy wet his pants because Sam Emerson let in 2 terrible
And
goals.
you go wet his pants. We were literally just talking about how he should have not played. No, they were terrible.
No, they were terrible. That is wetting your pants. As a goaltender, he let in 2 goals that the average NHL goaltender does not let in. Those 2 goals were terrible.
They were horrible.
They were.
The guys
And
were
that
playing
is-
pretty much all season long. Salciunas. Almost time for the Kincade and Salciunas Key 3, the 3 best minutes from today's show. But we got to congratulate a champion.
Oh, you're killing me.
What?
I was going to use it tomorrow.
Ah, well, I'm going to give it out.
Well, give it out anyway.
So Barstool Philly.
Yes.
Did a bracket. It's March Madness, right? So they're doing the brackets.
Okay.
And they did the worst Wawa parking lot bracket. And ours won! Belmont!
Let's go,
Belmont have the worst Wawa parking lot in the Philadelphia area.
It is absolutely it is terrible.
And yet I go there all the time because it's a great Wawa.
I will tell you this. The young ladies they have working that Wawa.
Oh, they're awesome.
In the morning are spectacular people. Wonderful people.
Yes.
This one woman, she would say, "I'm praying for you." And she was like, "What's your name, John?" "I'm praying for you." And every time I'd walk in that door, it's 4:40 in the morning or something. I get, "How are you doing, John? Are you feeling good?" I couldn't get over it.
Right.
That's a wonderful Wawa.
And between working here and I lived in Manayunk for 7 years.
Oh, my God.
I went to that Wawa a million times. So I'm
Pat said that we should have the driver's test there, and I agree.
It was
I
always
agree.
Belmont.
So congratulations to 193 Belmont Ave, the worst Wawa parking lot in the Philadelphia area. It's time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
You want to come up with the fan Bill of Rights. Can you explain?
After yesterday, that is ridiculous. That the night before a game, so less than 24 hours before a game, you change the game time. I don't think that's fair. Then people get there at 4, knowing right well that game wasn't starting at 4. And to me, I think the fans who were there at 4 o'clock, that's unacceptable.
So you want to come up with a fan Bill of Rights. You want to come up with our rights, damn it. So let's come up with some.
I think fans need some.
You have the Sixers and Flyers making their playoff pushes and hopefully deep playoff runs. It's great right now.
Okay, but here's the only problem is when we get built up to this excitement, what do we get? Joel Embiid, questionable to play? What?
What do you mean?
Questionable to play tonight.
Okay.
What? Why?
What do you mean why?
Why?
This is literally why I have written on the show sheet. I'm surprising you, John. I thought you were supposed to be the logical one.
I mean, why? Like, why is he questionable to play?
Because this will be his second game back after his injury on January 30th that required surgery.
Okay.
He literally said it on his post-game interview on TNT that he doesn't feel good.
Right. As the excitement builds, and we're excited for what it might be. It might be the biggest letdown we've ever had also. I'm going to tell you this. If Embiid can't go tonight, my concern about him really being back is high. The end of the game the other night, he acted like he was really hurt and sore, and it's really bad. If he's not able to play tonight, then I worry about the viability of, is he really going to be ready for a playoff run? Am I really going to buy into this and say, or is it something that's going to take time? I don't knock him. If it has to take time for him to get better, that's fine. But when you're talking about buy-in from the fan base, I need to know that he's really back.
So my fan Bill of Rights. Sometimes weather is an issue.
Okay.
If the game was still scheduled for 1 o'clock and it didn't happen until 4 o'clock because of the weather, it's nobody's fault. If you are going to keep on pushing the game back, everybody that paid for parking should have gotten refunded their park. Even if they stayed through the game, they make so much money, billions of dollars. The $25-$30 that they're going to have to give back to the person that braved the elements and sat through that horrible night last night or left should have gotten their money back. For the people that stay in the game, at least a free hot dog or something.
I look at jersey purchases, and obviously you can't do like retailers, but from the actual teams, I think you should have a 30-day period where if you purchase a jersey, if that player's no longer on the team within 30 days, you can redeem it for another jersey.
We turn to our man. He did a great job with us for the hour last week from Inside the Birds, Andrew DeCecco. What's up, Andrew? What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys?
So, do you think, and this isn't you got to pick one, AJ or Devontae, once the contract's, when it's time to do that, is AJ Brown still here? Would Howie Roseman be able to make it work, A, for both AJ Brown and Devontae Smith to get paid a lot of money, and B, we talk about their philosophy all the time. Is that something that you think he would do?
Yes, because both players have proven that they can be transformative, and the Eagles prioritize the passing game. Those are two premier players. They're going to help your quarterback long-term, who you just invested heavily in. I think that if anything, Andrew, they're going to find a way to make it work with both players and keep them in-house.
I'll give you one, and this came from one of my students, Dave Neville, that came up with it. The NFL doesn't care if they flex a game from a Sunday afternoon to a Sunday night. But there are many fans, like I was for many years, that would travel to Eagles games and fly up. I think fans who travel from out of town that book flights and hotel rooms that are then expected to change their plans on the fly, I think they should either be able to have the option to get a full refund on their tickets or be refunded any costs of change.
All right, that's a Kincade Salciunas Key 3. You know, I find it interesting, Johnny. Brendan Gunn, who tweeted out, our topic earlier today about the Fan Bill of Rights, there are a lot of people responding that are shills for the Phillies organization.
What do you mean?
Phillies don't owe you anything. It's April. One guy just said, shut up. That's nice. Ben says, we have the right to check the weather. Okay. Well, the game was scheduled.
What if you already bought tickets?
The game was scheduled for 4. People probably got there at 3:30. It got pushed till 8 o'clock. All I'm saying is the billion-dollar organization could give a kid a hot dog. Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, boys.
Give a kid a hot dog, you feed him once.
I already put your producer's brain in a pretzel when he came out talking about this subject today. So I ask you this simple question. Is it a right to be a fan or is it a privilege? I think it's a privilege. You don't have rights.
No. Because
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
rights.
yeah, yeah.
No, because if you buy an Apple product, I have rights. So if I buy a product from anybody, I have rights.
You choose to do that.
A consumer has rights.
Anytime you choose to do something, it's a privilege.
No, because
yes,
there's
it is.
Bob,
well, then don't do it.
There is an airline bill of rights now. So if you are an airline customer,
you choose to do that.
But you have a bill of rights. You have it's not a privilege to fly.
Sure it is.
You're a consumer.
Anything that you can do that you want to do is a privilege.
But Bobby, this is why we're creating the Bill of Rights.
Oh, you're creating it now.
That's what it is. That's what today. We're not saying you have the right to get a free hot dog if you stay at a horrible Phillies loss that was a 7-hour rain delay. I'm saying if you're there, you should get something out of it. We're creating the Bill of Rights.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah, because that's what it is. I mean, that's why they create Consumers' Bill of Rights. They actually have Consumers' Bills of Rights. You're a consumer that you're not allowed to just be treated by whatever willy-nilly the way they want to treat you.
Well, you don't have to be treated. Don't buy that product. That's on you. That's your privilege. It's like what I was thinking of when I was driving in. It's a great subject that you guys brought up. When I was driving in and you brought it up, I went back to like John, when we were 17 years old. First thing you learn when you're getting your license. Getting your license isn't a privilege. It isn't a right. It's a privilege. You have the privilege to drive. Being a fan, so that's what came into my mind. Being a fan is a privilege. It's not a right.
You know what's a privilege? Listening to you every day.
I didn't like that. See? Now I got your brains going. So Connor and I had a great conversation on it, so it was cool.
What do you got coming up on the show today?
We got a lot of fun stuff. Amy Fadul's going to join us at 12 o'clock. We'll go 12 to 1 with her. Eddie Barkowitz is going to join us for all things betting at 11 o'clock. Also, we have a pair of Flyers tickets versus the New Jersey Devils on April 13th to give away. And we're going to ask a question on something you guys are pretty much talking about. Weather and sports. What's your best story there?
Okay, and speaking of Amy Fadul and Bob Cooney, you'll be joining us tomorrow during First
Yeah,
Bet.
what time you guys want me? I still haven't heard.
9:30.
9:30.
That's
perfect. Has the producer not reached out to you?
I told him.
Bobby, thanks, man.
You guys are the best.
50-50s.
Yes,
That's
can't
your
wait.
privilege, too. That's
Yes.
all of our privilege.
Absolutely.
I just want you to think.
See ya. There you go. I know. Hey, I want you to support life-saving cancer research. Join us and our generous partners, Paul B. Moyer and Sons, and make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. You can do it today at 975thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives.
Well, you heard Bob Cooney. You'll be listening to him again coming up at 10 o'clock. Seriously, I can't believe the amount of shills that are on oh, the Phillies don't owe you anything.
I'm shocked. There is absolutely...
You're siding with the billion-dollar organization over the person paying their hard-earned money? What is wrong with you? It's Kincade Salciunas. We're back at it tomorrow, 6 o'clock on a First Friday. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.